as if by magic. It is coming, I'm told. Hold this space. Hey, presto, there we go. I'm going to have to turn this way, Charlie. Oh, that is a biggie right behind me. That is champions against champions. Game respects game. I think that's to be the Friday night kickoff. Arsenal, the Premier League champions, against the Championship winners Coventry. Hull against Manchester United. Welcome to the Premier League for Hull City. First season in the top flight for 10 years. And I'm quickly scanning because I want to find the other promoted team. It's Ipswich up against a team that were in the same boat as them last season in Sunderland. And Sunderland had that brilliant season. What catches your eye first here?
Listen, Arsenal Coventry first and foremost, because it'd be the first game. It'd be interesting to see how much development Coventry have done over the summer, bringing players in, because that's what they'll need to do to stay up. Frank Lampard will know that. But also, what scenario and what position Arsenal come? Because we see them how well they finished last season, the champions. Now they're at the kind of crossroads bit. What I mean that they can really go and grab a hold of this trophy and win it for 2 or 3 years, because the teams that are chasing them are in a little bit of a remit kind of thing. Liverpool got a new manager, Chelsea got a new manager, Man City's got a new manager. So I feel like it's Arsenal's the ones that could got both hands on the trophy, and they can keep hold of it for as long as I guess they want to.
You're really whetting my appetite. So just to let you know that they have nudged back the start of the Premier League season. That's no surprise because of the World Cup. You give the players a little bit of additional time. And actually, a lot of the players that are coming up from the promoted teams won't have been as busy this summer. And Arsenal, a lot of their players, we've already seen the 4 of them away with Arsenal. Declan Rice is performing absolute wonders. They might be slightly heavy-legged to start the season.
And there would be no surprise to that, really. You think of all the players that have gone to the World Cup, and there's so much demand on that at the moment because of it's the World Cup, of course. But ultimately, them players will know that when they come back to club football, as Arsenal players, they will know after winning the Premier League this season, they'll want to do that again and again and again as much as they can. Let's be honest, and that's going to be the thing for Mikel Arteta's team now. They've got over the line once. Now they want to stay over that line so they can keep their name on the trophy. OK,
need to cycle through this because we've done the top 4 games there. Nottingham Forest against Leeds, a couple of teams that last season, for a period of the season, were very nervous about relegation. They'll be hoping to climb up the table, obviously, this season. Tottenham Hotspur were the worst of the teams that stayed in the Premier League, starting off with an away London derby against Brentford. Brighton and Aston Villa both playing in Europe this season. They'll start the season down at the Amex. And Bournemouth have an away trip with their new manager, Marco Rosa. His first game in the Premier League is against Manchester City. And we pretty much know that it's going to be Enzo Maresca, but as yet not confirmed as the new Manchester City boss. And look at the game beneath that. Newcastle against Liverpool, with so many subplots bubbling away, as there was this time last season, Charlie, because Liverpool stole a player from Newcastle. This time they've done it again, and they play on the first day of the season.
I think it was always going to happen. After what happened last year, and then what's happened just a couple of days ago, now they've been put together to play. Listen, it'd be one of them where I think Newcastle will be kicking themselves, really. Because why is it always us? Why is it always our team that's getting players taken for us? So I feel like they may need to keep a bit more in-house, but that's always an exciting fixture, Newcastle versus Liverpool.
Certainly is, and we have booked it in for the very first Super Sunday of the season, 4:30 kickoff at St James's Park. You can see the Sky selections on the screen behind us. So the Friday night kickoff is the champions against champions, Arsenal against Coventry. Brighton against Aston Villa is the Sunday 2 o'clock kickoff. Along with Manchester City and Bournemouth, 2 o'clock on the Sunday. The late game on the Saturday, Brentford against Tottenham. And we'll round off that opening weekend with a West London derby with a new manager for Chelsea, Xabi Alonso, against Fulham, who, as yet, we don't know who'll be in their dugout.
And this is the thing. When you go for, there's so many good fixtures in but this is the Premier League. There should be good fixtures. That happens all the time. But this one, so many clubs now, managers have moved on and so many new managers have come in. But then they're looking around. Ipswich, newly promoted. They haven't got a manager. Fulham, Marco Silva's gone. You kind of knew January, February time that he was going.
Yeah.
They haven't got a manager.
Fulham said they were surprised that he decided to leave. I don't think anyone else has.
And then we've got 4 or 5 new managers have come to clubs. So I think, listen, it's going to be an interesting start to the Premier League season, shall we say?
Yeah, so many subplots and stories everywhere you look on that opening weekend of the season. So we've done that. Charlie, you mentioned to us that when you were waiting for the fixtures to come out, it was first day, last day, Boxing Day.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you that Boxing Day last year was a little bit quiet. There was just the one game on the TV. Let's have a look at the Boxing Day fixtures for this year. Now, Obviously, there will be some movement on this because of television, but we are told that there will be more than one game on Boxing Day, a return to the tradition, which is what we want to see. And you've got a better eye on this one. So what's catching your eye here? I think, once again, there's another big game involving Newcastle with Manchester City visiting St James's Park.
I think so, and that, you know where that goes, but that's your big games at Christmas, exciting times. It's the year round, but when it comes to the Christmas period, that's when you know it's getting spicy. Then you look at it, even with Arsenal going to Crystal Palace, it's going to be that'll be a good fixture there. And you just don't really, and you look at it, you got Man United, Nottingham Forest, especially if you don't know what Manchester United are going to do this year under Michael Carrick. And Nottingham Forest, you'd like to think, well, they would obviously like to think that they could do a lot better than what they did last year. So for me, yeah, the standout one really in that one is the Newcastle Man City.
Yep, and we will round off the trio that you said you're always interested in: the opening day, Boxing Day, and the final day fixtures. So let's have a quick look at those and just talk us through this. Now, I think a couple of really interesting subplots bubbling away. Now, we never know which way a Premier League season's going to go. Arsenal are the bookmakers' favourites. If it goes to the wire, their final game is against Brighton. I wonder if this catches your attention. You mentioned that Liverpool was one of the first fixtures you'd look for. Bournemouth go to Anfield on the last day of the season. Bournemouth's old boss, Anthony Iraola, will be in the dugout. Let's say they won the league. Bournemouth might have to give their old coach a guard of honour.
I think it's going to be an interesting one. There's a good fixture there. They go to their old manager, rightly so. But I think it's going to be an interesting one for Bournemouth this time. I know their recruitment's very good, but because they've got European football, they've got to add to the quality they've got, because it's all right performing well in Europe and not in the Premier League, then you've got problems on its own. So I think it's going to be interesting for Bournemouth and Sunderland this summer.
Let's just talk about England. Alan, I mean, 4-2 win against Croatia. Do you enjoy it?
I did. You know, it was nice to see. You know, for many, many years, you've been waiting to see a Premier League kind of performance from an England team.
Yeah.
And that's as close as I've seen. I mean, all these years, you know, particularly on the coaching front, we've been told, oh, we should be more like the Italians, more like the Germans, keep the ball, you know, have more kind of passing theme to our game.
Yeah.
Yet Thomas has come in, and the German manager, and gone, no, we're just going to play an English way, and like, let's get at teams. And I think it suits us. It suits our mentality. And I really like the changes he made in the game. He didn't look at reputations or anything else. He's just very much like free, fresh legs. Yeah. The offensive players off, knew was set on. It was refreshing in a lot of ways.
I said to you earlier, you're actually the third Newcastle manager I've been with this week, because I watched the game with Sam Allardyce and Kevin Keegan.
Good company.
Very good company. Keegan's face when Tuchel brought 3-2, when Tuchel brought on the three attacking players, when they were 3-2 up and he brought on three attackers, Kevin's little face was like, oh, this is brilliant. I mean, you know, you almost associate that attacking football with his team back in the 90s. But it was so refreshing, because I think with Southgate, as brilliant as he was, you would almost associate Southgate with if they had their noses in front, they would shut up shop, trying to be defensive, and the stress of trying. But it was just like, we're winning, but we're going to keep attacking. And as he's saying now,
yeah. But listen, when we go up the levels, you know, we're playing Mexico in that stadium. You can't. We'll have to. Yeah, we won't be in the same mode in every game. It'll be different. But Thomas just looks like, to me, like somebody who's super confident at the moment. Because like managers, like players, performances give you confidence. Yeah. You know, if your team plays well and you get accolades, you get more confident yourself. Yeah. So he'll be super confident, which is great. And he looks like, with the guys at the baseball at a pitch there, you know, there's a nice camaraderie about them. There feels like a nice moment. Bellingham looks terrific. So, you know, yeah, all good news at the moment, isn't it?
It was enjoyable because England obviously attacked with real kind of zip and verve, but it was also enjoyable because I think there was a little bit of jeopardy in the game. Croatia came to play. They didn't just want to sit in and low block England. They came to attack, and I think that added to the game as well. And to your point, England, if there were things that stood out, it was the attacking stuff, but also the defending stuff stood out as well, because if England are going to go deeper in this tournament, they're going to have to defend better than they did in that first half.
And that was the big talking point ahead of the game, that Mark Gahey didn't play. And he came on obviously late on in the game. But would you expect him to, as you talked about the latter stage, to say Mexico and the Azteca, would you expect Gahey to be starting games like that?
I think Sacco is going to come into the team in that probably the last qualifying game, and I think so will Gahey. I mean, I know him very, very well because obviously Crystal Palace, he was absolutely outstanding, and he's gone to Man City and carried that form. But his pace is going to be so important against the top stars in this competition. So if we go deep, he needs to be in the team. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Madueke did all right, didn't he? I thought Madueke did okay, on the right-hand side, looked good. But,
yeah.
But I know what you mean. Saka's just that when he's on form, there's few better in world football, isn't there?
Yeah, I think on that right side, he has that genuine ability to go both ways. He comes inside and can score. He can go on the outside and deliver decent crosses for Harry. So he's a real threat. And
debate on the left as well. Rashford came on and scored as well, didn't he?
Yeah. But I think the left is a little bit of jeopardy there.
Yeah.
Between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and Bellingham, there's been all this debate about the number 10. I mean, there was some debate whether Bellingham was going to get in the squad early on, but has Tuchel played a blinder there? Because he was great, wasn't he?
He was brilliant, wasn't he? Drove that. He was the heart of the midfield. Drove England forward, attack and defence. He's not like the traditional number 10 that we think of, David Silva, or diminutive between the lines kind of player. He's a driving force, isn't he? He's a battering ram number 10, and his intensity was the thing that stood out for me in that game.
He also has amazing technical skills, and his feet are fast. He'll win us penalties and stuff. You do feel for Rodgers because he's had a stellar season, and I think he will have a big part to play in this tournament.
Yeah.
But he looks great at the moment. He looks, Gary talking about a world-class, the only world-class player we have is Harry Kane. Bellingham's not far away.
Tell you what, you're right. It's a great
not
shot.
far away.
When you see him just carry the ball, he's like just glide.
And he's got like something in him like that I think England fans resonate with. He's got like a determination about him.
Yeah.
And I think that's great to have in a team. Yeah. Somebody who, like, when the going gets tough, is going to get hold of it and take you forward and get a foul for you in difficult periods and get a goal when we're on top and stuff like that. Yeah, he's very, very important to us.
Yeah.
Hi from New York, everyone, on this Thursday morning. It's been eventful, I'll say that. It's Jim White and Simon Jordan. We're live in TalkSport in partnership with Tool Station. First stop, Tool Station. First stop for Brad Friedel, as it was for all of us this morning, was the 50th floor of the World Trade Center. But Brad, like myself, ran into the Knicks winning parade and a bit of trouble on the way. Now, Troy made it, Simon made it. 82 times capped for the USA, Brad Friedel has just made it. If you're watching live on YouTube, we were just showing you pictures there of the parade going on outside. I mean, did you not try, don't you know who I am? I'm Brad Friedel. Get me into that building, please.
In New York. It's like my living nightmare. First the Knicks winning it, then being sat in the middle of 5 million people, telling them I got to go to work, and them telling I don't give a you-know-what. But at least the cops are really nice in this city. Yeah, they're helpful. Like all around, you go to every barrier. Hey, can you help me get to the World Trade Center? No, turn around and go do it. Oh, okay, nice. And then you go back through 5 more million people.
You didn't try and vault one of these.
No, I didn't do it. I know better than to want someone to shoot me.
Yeah, well, thankfully it didn't come to that. Brad, good morning. Brad, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. As other members of the crew are walking into the studio all the time, we are off and running. England are off and running. England beat Croatia by 4 goals to 2. last night, and we all got into a very nice little spot. Had a bit of food, had a few drinks, and watched it just round the corner from us. East side was that, Simon?
Lower East Side, yeah.
Lower East Side we were on. So, Troy, England's World Cup campaign off and running, 4-2 win. What have they done in the process? Have they laid down a convincing contenders marker?
Sure. They got a good result. They got a good result.
That was confident.
No, they got a good result. I wasn't as up on it as everybody else was. I thought that was a result I was expecting. Croatia are no mugs. Let's have it right. They're a good team, but I thought we should have more, especially in the midfield. When you look at Luka Modric, 40 years of age, playing in Italy now and looking at potentially retiring this year, I thought when you talk to our two holding midfielders of Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson, potentially £240 million worth of player. If you're not having a good day, Brad, as you know, run over somebody, just make it difficult. And all we did in the second half, play forward, run forward and tackle. Very simple things, but because we're so athletic and we're so good, it was great. But the defensive back line worries me a little bit, but we score goals now and it was entertaining. It was frustrating, but it was entertaining. I just wonder, as it goes on, can we do that can we have a first 45 minutes against the top teams like we did in that half?
I'm going to get Simon's take in a second. What was your takeaway from it, Brad? You and I shared a cab back into the centre last night, and we were talking more about Scotland, who you saw the other day. But on England, do you share Troy's views?
Short conversation on Scotland. Yeah, let's go.
Don't you start.
It was a short cab ride.
Yeah.
So I like two things about the England match. One is the first games are always difficult to get going in big events. Well, not always, but they can be. And so what I liked is something happened at halftime, whether it was Tuchel or whether it was the players, whether it was both of them. They came out and they were a completely different team, and I thought they suffocated Croatia in the second half. The second thing that I really like, I love the substitutions. Instead of being up 3-2, putting on substitution to see the game out, 3 energetic, athletic, attacking, very good footballers to go and then try to get the fourth, possibly a fifth.
Yeah,
I know it
run
ended
away
in
with
four.
it. Yeah.
I like those two things. I don't know if it was a marker. I mean, I think we all knew England was one of the best teams coming into the event. I'm going to see their game in Boston at Foxborough Stadium against Ghana.
Yeah.
So that'll be another opportunity for them to lay down what could be another marker. But those two things impressed me the most of the game.
Simon, I'm coming your way. We mentioned it was a game of two halves, really. Have a listen to what Tuchel said, reportedly at half-time.
I want him to be brave, courageous, intense, and on the front foot, and do it together, and just go for it, and try to take it, and be active. I encouraged them with words, which was short, was calm, and if they say it helped, even better. But I think that was the main. That was the main message, to just encourage them and tell them that we trust them, and there is nothing to fear. It's we want to go for the win, and be active.
So at half-time, Tuchel, they're saying that he more or less said, second half, go out there, be brave. Simon, from Southgate to Tuchel, was this the front-footed difference that you have been wishing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, for a number of reasons, for the reasons that Brad's laid out in terms of the substitutions, from the manner in which this is rock and roll football. This is what we saw with Jurgen Klopp in the second half. Interesting that Tuchel needs to have a reinforcement at half-time, because you would have assumed that conversation had happened before the game and that they were told to get on the front foot before the game. And England looked quite nervous when they started, and they weren't, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, I thought they weren't really at it. I think the performance in the second half, I was sitting next to Brad, and he was saying to me, and I think I'm right in quoting him, is that this is the best attacking performance that we've seen in the World Cup so far, in terms of the way that they put it upon the Croatians. Whatever we may have created in the media about how old this Croatian team is, Troy was saying off air that the average age of the Croatians is 28 and a half. Whereas our team is 27. We've been walking around under the impression this is a dad's army, just because you've got Luka Modric. So they're not mugs. I think we could have done better with the goals, but notwithstanding that, whatever lessons we think we need to learn defensively, Tuchel will learn them and they'll make some adjustments. But offensively, if you look at that performance,
That is as good as you want an England side to play. It's as good as an England side has played on the front foot for a very, very long time. And you look at it, and 4-2 flatters the Croatians to some extent, because England could have had 6 in the second half. So I think it's a great marker. It's a great start to the tournament. It's what the public will want to see. Tuchel is hiding his light behind a bushel, because I would imagine he was very strong in the dressing room at half-time to wake a few people up, because you saw it. They came out of the traps like men possessed.
Yeah.
You know, they scored the perfect cure to a goal just before half-time is a goal directly after half-time. And that's exactly what England got.
I also thought as well, sorry, I know you got to go to break.
No problem.
But you know, now you see so many managers say buzzwords.
Yeah.
And he's talking about being aggressive, being on the front foot. He actually means it, doesn't he? You get that sense of, oh, when he say we're on the front foot and be brave, if we make this mistake, it's on me. It's not on you, lads. So I think when a manager's that aggressive in what he says and believes it, it's easier for the players there, because you know, ultimately, if we fail, we've all failed, and he's not going to throw me under the bus.
OK, well, it's 1:30. We're going to take a quick break. But in the process, which takes you further in tournament football? The pragmatists or the entertainers? Anyway, it worked for England, and they're off and running. 4-2. So are we at 1:30 back in the UK. 8:30 here in New York City. The streets out there absolutely rammed. We are live on Talk Sport from New York City. Stay with us. On parade day for the Knicks, England regrouped at half-time. Listened to Tuchel, went out, and they virtually blew Croatia away in the second half. But which takes you further in tournament football, the pragmatists or the entertainers? Now, back there in the UK, Jamie Carragher in his Telegraph column, Thomas Tuchel declared his intention to rip up the script on how to win at international level. If you've got no control, you're finished. If you're not solid at the back, you're going to get found out when the pressure's on. This is his great footballing experiment. Can a Premier League team actually win the World Cup? Can they win the World Cup like this, Troy?
Yeah, I think we can win it. I think the stars would have to align. I don't think we're favourites to win it, whether that's just the bookies or when you look at the squads. I think when you look at the French team, for example, that starting 11 is fantastic, and but the depth that they have on the bench. But we are, physically as strong as anybody. We've got a world-class goal scorer, if not the best goal scorer in the competition. And then we've still got massive players like Jude Bellingham with a chip on the shoulder, Morgan Rogers who's trying to make a statement. And we've got guys who have won things, Declan Rice, Saka, they've all won this season. So absolutely we can win. I take a little bit of a dislike to what Jamie said, because we've done it the pragmatic way before. We've done it the solid, and we're going to play with our best players. Now we're going the opposite way.
Yeah, but come on. Southgate's pragmatism got you to a few finals.
But we didn't win. So it doesn't matter.
So is this way, is Tuchel's way, going to get you to a final, Simon?
Well, it's an interesting analysis, because it assumes that there's one way of playing. How did Tuchel win the Champions League final against Man City? He didn't win it by going gung-ho with Chelsea, did he? He played against the opposition. Now, he will look at the games on an individual basis. He will look at Croatia and say, we're a better side than them, so we should be going on the front foot, really putting it on them. If he plays against France, he might have a different view. He'll pick his moments for the team to be bold. He'll make substitutions at times if we're on top, or he'll make changes, or he'll set up the lineup from the outset in a different way. But I think in this situation, what I love about the attitude is that I have always been moderately critical of the idea of waiting for things to happen to you. I like us to be the team that people worry about, rather than, well, let's have a look and see, let's feel out the game. Get on these teams that we're better than, stamp your authority on them. So whilst I like Jamie's article, and I think it's an interesting comparison to suggest that the Premier League setup is the way that we're going to play, I don't think he'll play that way all the time. I think he'll make bold decisions, and the right decisions. And the bold decisions might come in all different guises. Yeah. So I think it's probably a bit one-dimensional to suggest that when he comes up against real opposition like the French or the Spanish or someone of a significant comparative level to us, they'll be different.
But I mean, Brad, even though you're an American, you've taken England to win the World Cup.
Even though I'm American. Is that just because the cop tackled you down there?
I would have thought you'd be leaning more on the USA to go deep. But obviously, having played so much of your career in England, you're more than entitled to say it. Having said that, Tuchel's way, is it the right way? Is this going to work for them?
I mean, okay, so we've seen every team play right now, and I think after the first matches, Spain's going to get better, but probably the two best teams are France and England of what we've seen so far. Well, I saw a French team where they weren't great in the first half. Senegal's good, but their goalkeeper wasn't great. First half, the one off the post, off his leg, the goal that went right through his body, the goal that was called back. They've got some deficiencies in the back as well. So I think you have to look at where your strengths are. England's strengths are going that way, not going that way. I like Pickford. I know I told you that.
Yeah.
But their real strengths is the athleticism, chance after chance after chance. Use it.
But if you're Pickford, are you happy with that defence in front of you?
Yeah.
Are you confident?
I'm happy with the team in front of me.
Are you confident in that defence?
Of course. Who wouldn't you be confident with? You don't like Konsa? Just because a mistake or something or a couple of chances came. The chance was not Konsa or Stones, especially the second goal. There was no pressure on the ball in midfield. So it had nothing to do with the back line. If nobody gets pressure on the ball, good players are going to be able to pick passes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So you put pressure on the ball. So do I think Anderson and Rice are good? Yeah, I do. I think they're really good. Should they have pressured the ball? Yeah, I do. So they should have pressured the ball, of course. So that's not so much a back line. I like the athleticism of anyone who plays right and left back. Yes, I like the team. And you have to sometimes feel your way into a tournament. In the past, they would have felt their way through a tournament for 3 matches. Now, they did it for 45 minutes. Tuchel came in and said, no, It's like the gloves are off. Show the country what you can do. Show me what you can do. And if you do that and we lose, you're not going to get any criticism from me. And that's what I think you were alluding to, Troy, is that you, as a player, you want to have that confidence from your manager.
Got you. England came out and took the game to Croatia in the second half. And Bellingham burst into action and scored. There's been a lot of scrutiny on what Bellingham said post-match, amongst other things. The spotlight's been on me. Has he got a little bit of a chip in his shoulder? It would seem yes. This was Bellingham.
Me personally, it was nice to kind of put some of the noise aside and just, show my country, show my teammates how committed I am to helping us try and win football matches. I think it was a great team performance. Second half, first half, we still got the intensity right, but with the ball not quite there. And second half, I think we put it all together nicely. And again, to contribute, to help my team, help my country is, one of the biggest honours. And regardless of the noise outside, that honour doesn't change for me at all.
He mentioned noise twice. Troy, you're shaking your head.
Yeah.
He says, I had to show my country how committed I am. Does he have to prove, has he got something to prove here?
The reason I'm shaking my head is when people say the noise outside, you mean off the interview that you did that said that people were against us? So you created the noise and then all the noise outside. To me, that bit's just crazy. I think, I like that he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's been injured for the majority of the year. Real Madrid have had a very poor year. There's been rumblings that basically him and Mbappe don't get on. So if you've got a chip on your shoulder to prove it, good. Marcus Rashford should be exactly the same, by the way. I was saying it to Simon off air. If I'm Marcus Rashford, I was at Barcelona. We've just lost my place to Anthony Gordon. They've sent me back. They brought Anthony Gordon in. I go to England. I've lost my place to Anthony Gordon. There's nothing more that can motivate me to go, right, I'm going to show you and I'm going to show the rest of the world that I'm better than you. Competition is healthy. I don't know why these lads all of a sudden want all of the praise when it's going well, but they want none of the scrutiny when it's going bad.
Yeah.
That's part of being an athlete, a top-level athlete. And Brad, would you agree to that?
100%. The best I ever played in my career was when I had a number 2 and possibly a number 3 that could have taken my place. Absolutely, in national side or in club football. Complacency is the worst ingredient into a professional athlete. Complacency kills you.
I also think the first time in Jude's career where there's a genuine question mark around his England career, should Morgan Rogers be playing? That was, going into this, no one really knew who was going to start, depending on predictive lineups. Some had Rogers started, some had Jude. So I think when you have that, it's like, okay, I believe I'm a superstar. I've shown in the past I can be that. Watch this, I'm going to show you. So I'm glad he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I thought he was pivotal, not only his goal, but the 15 minutes after that, where he's running around, he's making tackles, but he's not doing it to the crowd. He's doing it for the rest of the lads going, hey, let's step on it.
Yeah.
And that's what I need from Jude Bellingham moving forward.
I mean, Simon, he says, for me personally, it was nice to put some of the noise aside. I mean, has this noise around him, has it been fair?
On the whole, I think it was fair, the observations that were made in Germany about the performance of some of the players. And they didn't like it then, and they don't like it now, because we are in this society where the only things you can say are praise. And I think that's a poor society, because I think you build character out of constructive criticism. I have no problems with people being constructively critical of anything we say or anything people do. If it's not constructive and it's just destructive and it's personal, it's ad hominems, it's no use to man nor beast. I don't really care what the motivation is that Jude finds, as long as he finds his motivation motivation and goes out for performances like that. Now, he can say what he wants. At the end of the day, you back things up by your performance. He's gone out there, scored a great goal, and been an asset to the side. It never occurred to me, with due respect to the kid, Morgan Rogers, that Jude Bellingham wouldn't be starting. He is he's our best player in that position, and whatever the perspective, you play for Madrid, you put yourself in a goldfish bowl. Of course, people are going to ruminate about what's happening in the Real Madrid dressing room. Ryan Marino's brought in, and the rumours are abounding, the fact that him and Mbappe can't be in the same room because their egos are not, at a level. Jude is still a young man. He's still finding his way through, and he's had an immense amount of attention, immense amount of praise, and every now and again he gets a bit of criticism, and it will be good for him. Now, a fired up, focused, determined, on his toes, aware of the competition behind him, Jude Bellingham, is what we want and is what we got.
Yeah, because you remember in Germany when I met him outside the elevator, he was like a bit touchy.
Yeah.
Some of the media don't want us to be successful, Troy. I mean, that seems to permeate through to the players. Like the media don't want us to win here.
Oh, okay. Well then, if you win it, watch what the media do then. And they tell you how great you are, and the statues going up, and this is the greatest team of all time.
Yeah.
I think, listen, whatever your motivation is in life is great. For me, I chose everyone to be an enemy because that was just what fired me up.
Yeah.
You don't want me to win. You don't want me to be here. The other guys in my team, you're trying to take my job. You're trying to take kids food off the kids' plate. Whatever it is I needed for that day, that was the reason.
See, I love that from Troy. What motivated you? You're talking about another couple of goalkeepers being on your shoulder.
Punctuality.
Punctuality.
Paying fines.
I was self-motivated. There was no issue, and it's funny when Troy says this. So like, what I would try to do, knowing like if I played against Troy, and knowing he was fired up, like Duncan Ferguson and stuff. Yeah. One of the first things I would have done is like the first play, I would have like patted you on the back, well done, like to try to get him to be like,
hold on,
wait a sec, I can't be mad at this fella, because then you get him off. It's like playing against Drogba. Like you used to tell the defenders sort of not stay off him, you can't, but just sort of like don't hit him too hard or whatever, and then he'll kind of maybe hopefully drift out of the game a little bit. Yeah. Because if you smacked him early doors, he was a good player. Yeah. And when you fired him up. So as Simon was saying, if Jude has a chip on his shoulder because of the media, and he uses that, and the whole reason he's playing in the World Cup is to be able to lift the cup, walk by the media, and point his finger at him, brilliant. As long as he gives everything on the pitch.
Flip side to that.
Go on, Troy.
The flip side to that is, if you're using that and you're in a way making the media the enemy, if you don't, then you can't sulk because they've gone, okay, you came and had a pop at us, they're going to have a pop back at you.
Sure. We have a goalkeeper in our midst, of course, Mr. Friedel, 82 caps for the United States of America. And it all got underway for England last night with a penalty kick taken by Kane, but he scored it at the second attempt. Can penalty kicks be any more stacked against the goalkeeper these days? People like Troy Deeney and Simon Jordan, of course, very pleased about England getting off to a winning start. They beat Croatia by 4-2. So is Big Brad here, who takes England to go all the way and win it. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but nonetheless, they have got off to a winning start. So what did our commentary team last night in TalkSport make of it now that the dust has settled today? Co-commentator last night alongside Jim Proudfoot, England legend Stuart Pearce, who is joining us from Dallas this morning. Stuart, hi to you, my friend. What were your thoughts on England's opening performance?
I think in the main, really, really positive. Substitutions worked really well. I thought he made some good calls at the time during the second half, taking Jude Bellingham off. I weren't sure about that one, or taking Declan off, but I must say it probably was a masterstroke at the time. The first half was a strange one, really. We come in at 2-2 and you thought there's a game here we should be bossing and dominating, and we still come in level at half-time. But in the main, some really good goals. We've demonstrated we've got some great goal scorers and goals in the team. And just the only question mark for me slightly was defensively. I think we got caught out on occasion, passing for passing's sake, and got the ball turned over off us. And it cost us. To be fair, you can't underestimate Croatia. They're a good side and show the clinical side of their finishing. But in the main, really, really positive.
Stuart, I know you're close to Gareth Southgate. He's your mate. I get that. But are the days of the cautious Southgate approach well and truly over?
I think time will tell on that, Jim. I think yesterday was definitely a case of that, and I think from what some of the players alluded to at half-time, the manager sort of said to them, you know, look, get out there and take the shackles off and let's get after the opposition, no matter where it takes us. And I think I saw that in their demeanour in the second half, that they were much more on the front foot, much more aggressive with their movements. And to be fair, I thought Jude Bellingham led that, and credit to him for it.
Stu, you spoke about the defending, and I was very much just in the same boat. How do we shore that up while being so aggressive in the front areas? How do we make sure that we don't give away those types of chances when we come up against the better teams, in your opinion?
Well, what I would say, Dean, I think we had, it wasn't as if we, Troy, sorry.
It's all right, mate. Are you good?
Sorry, mate. It wasn't as if we sort of had so many players up the pitch. We were outnumbered defensively. We had numbers back. We just didn't defend particularly well. You know, I think John Stones for the first one's gone to the ground. I think when you're in that position, you've got to keep the forward going wide and stay on your feet. And I think he'll probably, the 90 minutes will do him good, I think, you know, because he's not had much game time. So unless he decides to bring Mark Gahey back into the fold, which I think he might well do for the next game. So I think we had numbers back. So it wasn't a case of, look, we've overexposed ourselves going forward. It's just we had to defend slightly better. And I think sometimes I looked at the back line, especially in the first half, and I saw sort of Anderson at time dropping into the back line, staying with his man. And then for the second goal, I think him and Jude sort of vacated that area, thinking the danger had gone. And all of a sudden, that player was the one heading the ball back in for the second goal. So I think we'll benefit by it defensively. And I think the manager, sometimes you know what it's like, everything goes smoothly and you've learnt nothing from the game. I think because things went well, the result went well for us, but there were one or two things that the coaching staff can look at and the manager look at and say, we can improve on this, this and this.
I mean, Stu, you sound quite sanguine about it. Do you not look at it and think that it bodes well? This gives us a good base. There's always going to be questions, and I think it's important to be level-headed. We're sitting in a bloody bar yesterday, but they start booming out, "It's coming home," which makes you put your head in your hands in an American bar. But do you look at it and think, well, this bodes well? This is a good start. This is a positive start. Questions to be asked and answered going forward against better opposition. But front foot football, taking the game away from the Croatians in the second half, is a good indicator of the way that England are going to play and a good scenario for us to build from.
100%. I don't think that, I don't want to come across negative, but it's my sort of job, I suppose, to analyse everything from good, the bad and the ugly in many ways. But there were so many pluses, you know, on a scale of 1 to 100. You're talking 85%, I think. 80% was really, really positive on what I saw with my eyes. But you've also got to look at the other bits and pieces, because I've got a mentality of saying we're going to come up against bigger and better further down the line, and we need to address that 15% that might just be the difference in those games. But in the main, I tell you what excites me, Simon, the most, whenever you look through our squad of players, there's probably the first 16 players, there's a lot of players on that pitch that can get you a goal out of nothing. And I include the likes of O'Reilly in that, who had a gilt-edged header that he should have got on target, and another one that was well saved by the goalie. So add Eze to that, add Rashford to that, add all of these players who didn't start to that, and you think that is exciting.
Indeed. Yeah, Stuart, here's Brad.
Hey, Stu, so do you think really that he should be addressing the 15% or capitalizing on the 85% that was good? Because that would be a different approach by an England manager.
Yeah, you know what? This day and age, I think with a result like that, you don't want to put a downer on with your squad. For me, over these next couple of days, or whenever they look back at the game, for me, it's keep fueling that 85% probably, and keep the positives, keep enhancing the positives. And you know, the last thing they want to do is sit down when they're buoyed up and excited. You know what it's like in that dressing room. Keep fueling that, and then, you know, probably address it as in 15% of your team meeting is going to be working with maybe your back line, maybe holding defensive midfielders.
Sure, as we know, Harry Kane made it 10 World Cup goals, equalling Lineker's tournament goals record. Didi Hamann has been speaking about it. And when Hamann speaks for a variety of reasons, we kind of sit up and listen, don't we? On Kane, the jury's out. I want to see him do it against France and Brazil. Whether he's capable of doing it, we don't know yet. At some stage in the tournament, you need pace. He simply hasn't got it. What do you think, Troy? Everyone's raving about Kane, are they not?
It's nothing better than somebody who's slow talking about someone's pace. You know, Didier Man wasn't known for pace, was he? Was he known for pace?
We had Harry Kane when I was doing my coaching. He was coming through academy into the first team.
Yeah.
And the talk back then was brilliant. I actually brought to the fore how good his finishing ability was because I jumped in goal obviously with him. The one question mark back then was his pace. Always has been. But guess what? It's never mattered.
Never.
He's learned how to use his body. He's learned how to play a little bit differently. I understand if you're going to play sit-back, counter-attacking football, but England should have the ball.
But Didi's point, I mean, put aside the observation about pace, because the first yard will be in your mind, right?
Yeah.
But he isn't wrong to suggest that Harry needs to do it against big opposition, because I know he's banged in 62 goals this year and he's played against big opposition.
Right, Simon.
On the international stage, there has been questions in big games that Harry hasn't scored against big opposition, and he's going to need to in this tournament.
I think, but also as a striker, I'm only as good as the service I get, right, in those big games. So in those big games, have we delivered the best attacking options? I would say no.
But the point is a confected outrage coming off the back of what Didi said. And so whilst we can suggest that it's a slightly unfair observation to make it all about pace, because we know that some of the top players in the world didn't have pace or don't always have pace, the other side of the conversation that Didi's saying is not an unfair observation. And when Harry goes and bangs goals in against the French and Spain, he'll shut that conversation down.
What did you make of the Hamann declaration on Kane then, Stuart?
All he's doing really is pointing out the obvious. Harry's not got blistering pace, but the beauty of what we found out over the last year, the manager's put two players either side of him that are extremely quick. Now, if we had another speed merchant up front in Harry, it probably wouldn't work with the dynamic. Yes. With Harry, what we've got, an intelligent footballer that gets on the ball and makes the other two outside him tick and Jude tick and Morgan Rogers tick, which is absolutely exactly what England want. It's a team ethic, and I think he's absolutely ideal. Now we've got two players and worked out that you're better off not playing Foden or Palmer out wide. You need speed merchants who can take people on. It's the perfect front line for me.
Stuart, thanks so much for joining us. Troy, one final footnote from you.
It was going to be really quick, just to Stu. In that regard there to Harry dropping down, I thought yesterday the two wingers played the game too wide. When Harry dropped it, they didn't run inside the pitch. Was that an observation you saw being there, or was that just poor from me?
Well, no, Madueke definitely held his width. You know, you don't know what they've been coached and what they've been asked to do, whether he's sort of asked them to hold their width so that Bellingham and Rice can exploit those areas when Harry does drop deep. So they certainly held their width, but you don't know whether the coach has told them to do that, Troy, or not. Okay. You know, but you know from a winger's point of view, and it's a disaster for a fullback like myself. If you know they're stood out on the touchline, you know it half does your job for you. You've just got to deal with those one-on-ones. If they start dipping inside as well, you've got two dynamics to deal with.
OK, Stuart, thank you so much. England did their job last night, and they got the first day win that they wanted. You're listening to Jim White and Simon Jordan, Brad Friedel, Troy Deeney. We're live from New York on TalkSport in partnership with Tool Station. First up, Tool Station.
Liverpool mean business. It is there for all to see that Liverpool mean business. They are going about this summer in a very serious way. It is clear that they have a relentless pursuit of trying to launch a serious and sustained bid to win the Premier League title. They are making manoeuvres that suggest that they are going to do everything that they can to win the Premier League title. Bringing in Andone Iraola was a masterstroke, and now they are following that up with an approach for Yan Diamonde. They are doing everything that they can, everything within their power to make sure that they bring Yan Diamonde to Anfield. Now, Liverpool are a serious football club. They are a serious football institution. And Don Areola is a serious manager. Many players at that club are serious. And when you start being linked with players of the quality of Yan Diamonde, when you start being open to putting in bids of €100 million for a footballer like Diamonde, it is time for people to take you seriously. I think people are totally underestimating the ability of what Liverpool are capable of next season. Of course, I concede that it didn't go their way last year. Of course, I understand quite how poorly it went under Arne Slot in their second season. But they have bid €100 million for Diamonde, and they see him as the heir to Mohamed Salah's throne. Now, when you think about who Diamonde is, when you think about the player, when you think about the noise around him, when you think about his performance in the World Cup, by the way, that game against Ecuador, he was clearly the shining star, clearly the burning light of that team, clearly the best player on the pitch by a mile. And then you think about the teams that are linked with Diamonde. Firstly, Leipzig don't want to let him go. They're in the Champions League next year. And the big reason that they're in the Champions League is because of the brilliance of Diamonde. But Paris Saint-Germain are also linked with Diamonde. When you think about that front line, Doué, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, when you think about the players in that front line, and then they're looking at Diamonde as a player that can somehow elevate them, somehow give them a different dimension, somehow make them better, somehow give Luis Enrique a different option, it is really serious. And I don't know if Liverpool are going to be able to get this one over the line. I imagine they will, because when a club like Liverpool come knocking, it is very difficult to say no. And we've seen it already. Like, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but they've already made signings. They've already been stealing players from under the nose of Newcastle United yet again. Because when the Liverpool knock comes, it knocks different. But the problem that they have is that Diamonde is doing well on the world stage. He's linked to Paris Saint-Germain. He was the best player on the pitch on his debut World Cup. It's very difficult to imagine a world where a World Cup goes better for a debutant than that one. And as a result, his value is going to skyrocket. Like, Leipzig apparently want 130 million quid. And I know this is wild. I know it goes nuts, but they're going to get it. They're going to get that. Someone is going to pay that, because on the ridiculous scale that we now operate, that is what he's worth. And on the scale where I don't think anyone should be worth that, and I think money in football is ruining the game, yes, it's ridiculous. But in the realistic scale, I can see why he's worth that. Like 12 goals and 9 assists in the Bundesliga last season. De Geezer is 19. 12 goals and 9 assists in the Bundesliga at 19. I've already said, I was watching that game. Like, my kid, you don't need to know this, right? But I'm watching a lot of football at the moment because my youngest kid is not sleeping. So if you're asking me, do I want to watch Austria? Do I want to watch Austria play at 5 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Do I want to watch Argentina play at 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, I do. Do I want to watch Uruguay play Saudi Arabia at 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, I do. And I tell you what, I was watching that Ivory Coast Ecuador game, and the best player on the pitch by a mile was Diamonde. Like, I honestly think that this is such a talent, such a raw talent. And the fact that Paris Saint-Germain are involved also elevates the value of the player, the prestige of the player, the noise around the player. And ultimately, I understand why Leipzig don't want to let him go. They want him to be part of their Champions League campaign, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Liverpool, once they start calling, it's going to happen. And if you think about the quality of players that Liverpool are now linked with, they've already bought in Iraola. Iraola at Bournemouth, he had Bournemouth sixth Bournemouth. That's what Iraola did. Pound for pound, his best managerial achievement last year. Absolutely sensational. Honestly ridiculous. Bournemouth should be in League 2. And they're sixth. They're in Europe. That is what Iraola did. And he's obviously worked with the Liverpool hierarchy before, so they know what he is capable of. He knows what he's capable of. He only signs 2 years deals. I think he is the perfect man for the job. And now they're going to back him, because he wouldn't have gone in there. And you've seen Liverpool linked with Bradley Barcola. Like, if you are linked with Bradley Barcola, if you're signing players who help Paris Saint-Germain win the Champions League and retain it, you're signing proper players. They're going to sign someone like Barcola, whether it's him or not, but they will sign Diamonde. And the fact that they've already made a signing, they have already hijacked Newcastle United's bid to sign Victor Munoz, and it's happened again. It felt like they did it, They did it with Szoboszlai, they did it with Ekitike. Ekitike was a Newcastle player. But the might of Liverpool, the power of Liverpool, the history and reputation of Liverpool, it came calling and Ekitike went, yes, sound. Ekitike was a Newcastle player. This move happened when I was on holiday. And I did my best to not be across stuff while I was away. And I kind of went to bed and lived a day of my life thinking that Ekitike was a Newcastle United player. And at the time I was going, God, Isak and Ekitike up front together at Newcastle. That could be a front. And obviously they end up together, but at a different club. Because that is the power of Liverpool, and they have done it again. Iraola's first signing is Victor Munoz, and it's a significant signing. It's a significant statement of intent from what Liverpool are about. Just getting the job done, just getting the deal over the line. No noise, no fanfare, just quietly going about your business, negotiating with Osasuna and making sure that it happens. You know, Manchester United will link with the player. I think Leverkusen will link with the player. Apparently Real Madrid, Mourinho was really eyeing up the player. But Liverpool wanted Munoz, and when Liverpool want Munoz, that's basically what happened. And look, I know the Liverpool season fell away last year. I know that they made a pig's ear of it. I know that they made mistakes. I know that some of the signings haven't looked good. I know that by the end, Arne Slot was out of his depth and a joke, and I know that Florian Wirtz was effectively a joke. But come on. Come on. If somebody can sprinkle the stardust on Wirtz, if somebody can get Alexander Isak back to that player that he was when he was at Newcastle. At one point, I truly believed that Alexander Isak was the best player in the league. I was arguing that he was the best striker in the world. And I was right. Scoring goals galore for Newcastle United from all sorts of range. He was doing it from 2 yards out. He was doing it from 20 yards out. He was doing it with his left foot. He was doing it with his head. He was doing it with his right foot. He was beating a man. He was dropping the shoulder, and he was electrifying. If he finds that form, if Ekitike in the new year rediscovers himself and can link up with Alexander Isak, like, just think about the player that Alexander Isak has already looked in this World Cup for Sweden. Like, make no mistake about it. Liverpool next season are going to be a force. Trust me, they are going to be a force. And I think that they are building a team for a title charge. They have a manager who is capable of taking this team. You know, it's kind of it's ruinous at the moment, but it is still elite. And if they get Diamonde over the line, not only because of the player, but because of what it would mean, because of the noise that it would make, I think that's a statement. You sign Diamonde, the rest will follow. You sign Diamonde, all of a sudden, like, Diamonde is one of the most prized assets in European football, and he wants Liverpool. He wants Liverpool more than he wants Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain just won. They just won the European Cup. They just retained it. They've got the best manager in the world. But Diamonde wants Liverpool. Why? Because of Liverpool. Because of the institution. Because of everything that's happened at that club before. And if he were to go there, I think it would be a huge statement of intent for the rest of the league. This is one to watch, you know. The fact that they've got their business done very early with Munoz. Got him in. No noise. Now, they've already told Leipzig that they are ready to spend 100 million euros. Whether that's enough, whether that's going to do it, probably not. But they have said, we'll give you 100 million euros now. We will give you that. That's 85 million pounds now for a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old who just made his debut at a World Cup. We'll give it to you. 100 million. We're serious. We're a serious club with serious ambition, with serious history, with serious players, with a serious manager who are going to launch a serious and sustained bid to win the Premier League next season. That is what Liverpool are about. Fascinating. Like, these transfers, these little transfers, they start to kick it into gear. They start to spring it into life. And it's going to be fascinating to see how it all develops. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Liverpool making manoeuvres during a World Cup. One of the starlets of the World Cup could be on his way to Anfield. And if Mohamed Salah is to be replaced, Diamonde could be the man to do it. What a front line that could be. What a front line that could be. Ekitike, Isak, Diamonde, Wirtz pulling the strings. If he can get him firing again, who knows what could happen at Anfield next season. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you're new around here, do me a favour. Please do click subscribe. It would be an honour to welcome you into this community. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Ta-da.
Right, Spurs are busy early in this transfer window as they look to avoid another successive season, finishing just above the relegation places. Mark McAdam joins me now to take a look through who they're looking to bring in this summer, or who they've already brought in fact. Have they got a defender conundrum at Spurs? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so like you say, Spurs, the movers and shakers already in this transfer market. It always impresses me when sides go out very early on and get their targets nice and early. And they've done that essentially with Marcus Senesi and Andy Robertson, two free transfers, two top quality Premier League players that can go straight into that squad. And they're on the verge of confirming a third one as well. What we do know is a deal was agreed late last night between Brighton and Hove Albion and Tottenham Hotspur for Jean-Paul Van Hecke, the 26-year-old currently out in the World Cup at the moment. That deal is worth £52 million. No add-ons. It's a straight £52 million. However, Brighton do hold a 20% sell-on clause in that deal. The key thing here is that JP wanted Spurs. Why did he want Spurs and Spurs only? Because of the head coach, Roberto De Zerbi. He says he's like a father figure. Obviously was instrumental in getting him into that Brighton side, took him into the Europa League, formed a really good relationship with the defender, and the opportunity to go and work with him again was something that was absolutely key for Van Hecke. He had just 1 year left on his contract. So Brighton had to move, otherwise this time next year, he'd walk away on a free
money
transfer.
for someone with 1 year left on their contract.
Yeah, to be honest, it's made a big thing. You know, people say he's got 4 years left or 5 years left or 1 year left. Ultimately, Trent Alexander-Arnold went to Real Madrid with 4 weeks left on his contract and they paid £20 million for him. Whatever the buying club wants to pay, whatever the selling club's willing to accept, doesn't really matter how long. It gives it, you know, the selling club, when they have a long-term contract, it gives them a little bit more power and control because they can say, well, you're not going anywhere for 4 years, so you've got to do what we say. However, it's one of those things. Whatever the price is, and if two parties agree, that's what the deal is. He cost Brighton just £1.8 million.
Not bad business, is it?
And they sell him for £52 million. Once again, this is another example of how clever and astute and good Brighton are within the transfer market and what they do to generate huge funds. Once again, they'll go and reinvest that into more defenders. Yeah. The key thing that they're going to miss out on is Van Hecke played 36 out of 38 Premier League games, started 36 games. That's a big piece of their jigsaw they're going to have to find and fill.
It's amazing, isn't it, now, Spurs? You look at the defensive options they've got, because they've still got, you know, Romero, Van der Ven's still there. I agree with you. I think Senesi's a great signing. Yeah. You've seen a lot of him at Bournemouth. Yeah. But it'd be interesting to see how they deal with all of that. Are they going to sell someone? I mean, are Senesi, Van Hecke, are they coming in to start? Robertson, you presume, is going to be the starting left-back?
Yeah. You'd imagine. This is what's fascinating. They have strength in depth right across centre-back, which historically has been a bit of a problem because they've suffered from injuries and players being out of form. But they do have strength in depth, and they have arguably 4 top-class starting centre-backs now. So Roberto De Zerbi has got a little bit of a problem. We know that there's been a lot of noise around Christian Romero. We also know there's been a lot of noise around Mickey van der Ven. Now, Tottenham will say we don't want to lose any of our top players, and obviously Roberto De Zerbi will have, you know, final say on who goes out the door. But you'd imagine getting players in that position may be the sort of the setup for someone going out of the exit door. But we just have to wait and see what happens. But getting their business done early is certainly a massive positive.
Yeah. What about midfield? Because one of the most in-demand midfielders in the Premier League at the end of the season, Sandro Tonali. Is there any chance of Spurs making a big bid for him?
Well, our information is there is very, very firm interest in the player. Sandro Tonali is a key part of Eddie Howe's side. We reported yesterday that there was interest, but no club-to-club talks as of yet. The fact that the interest has come out would maybe suggest there is a feeling from the Sandro Tonali camp that this is a deal that they'd be open to. However, Newcastle will turn around and say, this player is not for sale. You know, and if you were to put a price on his head, we'd be looking for £100 million. You know, if Elliot Anderson's worth 120, 130, maybe more, then Sandro Tonali is worth, you know, not far off that. So can a deal happen? We don't know. But like you say, when you've got Andy Robertson and Marcus Senesi on a free transfer, suddenly that frees up funds to maybe go big on another player. And what we do know is that the Tottenham hierarchy are absolutely trying to back Roberto De Zerbi over the course of this summer. He came in last season when there was a good chance they could get relegated. He signed a 5-year contract. They've put their faith in him. Now they have to get the backing and support that he needs to go and build this team, because he'll say, look, I've done it with Brighton. I've managed big clubs. You give me the tools, you give me the players, you give me the squad I want, I'll go and take this team back to the Champions League. But that means you have to back me in the transfer window. And if they were to find the funds to go and purchase someone like Sandro Tonali, who would be a big hitter, then maybe this could be the start of something special for Spurs once again.
Sense they're going to have a bit of competition, though, with Tonali, Arsenal, Man City possibly. Speaking of Man City, Bernardo Silva. Without, I must admit, I thought he would go to Barcelona when it was announced he was leaving. He's going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, there's been a lot of players linked with Barcelona that haven't ended up at Barcelona. Cucurella was one of those players and is now obviously at Real Madrid. 16 major titles at Manchester City. He's incredible, quite simply phenomenal. 6 Premier League titles, huge part of the success of Pep Guardiola. A free transfer at just 31 years old, and now he's going to be linking up with Jose Mourinho. We got confirmation from Real Madrid earlier on today. He's going to be signing a 2-year contract, free transfer, similar to Ibrahima Konate. This is once again more good, solid business. Exceptional footballer, over 100 caps for Portugal. Absolutely is one of those key players in the dressing room. The biggest professional you'll find in the game. He ticks all of those boxes. The fact that there's that Portugal link with Jose Mourinho as well will be nice.
Jose factor, you think, would be quite big in bringing in all these players they're linked with?
Absolutely. He's a superstar head coach, one of the greatest managers of the modern era. When you look at his silverware haul, now he's got the challenge to try and perhaps do it at a big club once again that he hasn't had for some time, and of course maybe do it in the right style as well. But Bernardo Silva, the footballer he is, will certainly pull the strings through the middle of the park. So that is the right type of signing to play that attractive brand of football that Real Madrid fans expect.
Yeah. Cheers, Mark. That's an awesome jacket, by the way. What's that, dusty pink?
I think so, yeah. I don't know.
I thought you would. How do I know that and you don't?
Well, you're more of a fashionista than me.
No, that's rubbish. Remember, you can keep up to date with every deal on our dedicated Transfer Centre page, and fashion advice if you want it. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to keep up to date with every move this summer.
Bernardo Silva's fairy tale run at Manchester City has come to an end, and now he will be a Real Madrid player. He is joining Los Blancos on a 2-year deal. He'll be working under Jose Mourinho, his fellow countryman. Ale, do you like this signing?
I'm torn. See, the thing is, if you're going to trust Manchester City and their assessment of players, and I think we can trust Manchester City because of their track record, they have been very good about jumping ahead of the curve and knowing full well when the top ability of a player seems to be slipping, and guess what? You can go on your way, thank you for your services. And we see that from Gundogan. We've seen that in the case of Kevin De Bruyne as well. And now, is that the case for Bernardo Silva? The other thing that makes me think about this transaction is, what about Arda Güler? Isn't the same profile of player, left-footed player coming out of the midfield that can influence the attack, that did some good things for Real Madrid last season? Are you sacrificing him, his growth, his maturity, his development, that maybe he could become the player that you thought that he could become at the expense of Bernardo Silva because of potentially a relationship and a trust that he may have with Jose Mourinho? That in itself, I'm not in love with that, because it feels like right now, since you're giving all the power to Jose Mourinho, you're saying, well, Bernardo Silva is going to be a conduit of information between Jose Mourinho and the players out on the field, so therefore he must be on the field, and then we're sacrificing the talent of Arda Güler. And if I'm Franco Mastantuono, I now know that my time at Real Madrid may be coming to a very clear end. That Bernardo Silva, I think he still has something to give. I just don't know that it's worth enough to sacrifice Arda Güler, if indeed that's what ends up happening.
Stevie, what do you make of it, especially with the oncoming effects that it could have on such a young talent like Arda Güler?
It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. There are certain teams who are all about winning their domestic league and winning the Champions League. And that is what Real Madrid are about. And so why are you signing a guy that Manchester City have let go because they think he's past his best?
Experience?
Let's just tell it how it is. They think he's past his best. So if you're going to sign him, for me, the logical reason would be the experience. But at the same time, how is he going to help anybody? Because the two players that Ali's been talking about, Goulart and Macentuano, the first thing they're going to do, he's the enemy.
Yeah.
He's the enemy. Because Bernardo Silva isn't going there either to sit in his backside. He obviously will fall for the, I want you to be the experienced guy and help the young players and do this and do that. But Bernardo Silva wants to play as well. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. I think it's going to upset a lot of the dressing room. And if he thinks Bernardo Silva's going to go in there and sort out the dressing room with Mbappe and Vinny, it's going to create other problems with the younger players. So I don't think it makes sense.
All right, let's move on now to another name, Stevie. Victor Munoz. If you don't know him, get familiar with him, Stevie, because he is heading to Liverpool. He has signed for a 40 million euro fee from Osasuna. Ale, do you like this one?
Well, if you don't know a whole lot about Victor Munoz, let me just tell you that he has had a rapid ascent in his career over the last few months, in which he was a nice young player for Osasuna to now a Spanish international. And in that rapid ascent, what we have seen is a player that has something encouraging about his game. He's going to take down defenders. There is aggression to his game in that he gets the ball, he's going after defenders, and he plays with that sort of speed. He will cut to the inside, look for shots by himself. He can hit the ball from distance. He's an exciting young player, and yet I think this is a big jump. It's a big jump, not only going from Osasuna to Liverpool, but it's also a big jump in the sense that, well, what do you do with the players that are already in place there that play a similar role? The profile of player would be the fact that he's able to take defenders on, and I think that maybe excites Liverpool fans.
Stevie, does that excite you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he fits the profile of Liverpool. You know, you think of Mane, you think of Salah when they come. You know, you think of Gakpo. Their job is to go at defenders, and this guy does that. And he scores a decent amount of goals, and the price tag is good as well for the 22-year-old. He kind of fits the profile of what Liverpool have done over the last decade. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing.
Good signing. All right, well, Stevie, that's some good signing news for you. What about this? I know nothing makes you happier than seeing a sea of England fans happy. These are their celebrations when they saw not one, but two, but three, but four goals today from the Three Lions as they beat Croatia. Stevie?
I'd rather watch paint dry than watch this.
Wow. So you don't like this, is what you're suggesting?
Why should I be happy that England won?
Well, I don't know.
We were just, our producer Mike thought that it'd be funny to throw some salt in your wounds.
Well, it's not funny.
Oh, all right.
I don't find it funny.
Spicy! Stevie.
Our producer is apologizing right now.
Yeah, well, it's a good
Mike
job
says he's
he's doing
sorry
in the studio
now.
right now.
Welcome back. The transfer window is up and running. There has been some big stories already. As you can see, Michael Bridge and Mark McAdam alongside me now to run us through what's going on. And let's start, Michael, with Tottenham, because looking to make a pretty statement move this summer.
Absolutely, Joe. Is it day two only of the transfer window? And we can tell you that Tottenham are interested in signing the Newcastle United midfielder, Sandro Tonali. I mean, that is quite the statement. This is a very, very highly regarded player who's done ever so well at Newcastle United, but Tottenham are interested in his signature. I understand there is no club-to-club talks as of yet, but it would be quite a signing, and this is a real statement of intent from Tottenham Hotspur. A few weeks ago, Vinay Venkatesham and then non-executive chairman Peter Charrington releasing statements that Spurs will be busy in the next few windows, starting with this summer window, and we will be backing Roberto De Zerbi. And Roberto De Zerbi, Joe, is very hands-on, probably the most hands-on head coach Spurs have had for some time. Of course, Spurs have the director of football model, but the message is clear. Roberto De Zerbi wants big signings, and they are in for a big player.
OK, so Tottenham in for Tonali, but Mark, other clubs interested as well?
Yeah, Newcastle fans won't like me for saying this, but there are a number of suitors in the Premier League for Sandro Tonali. There are a lot of teams in European circles as well that like him, but there are very few that can probably get to where Newcastle would like to be financially. We know that Manchester City have been one of those sides that have kept an eye on him over the course of the last few months, and Arsenal are also big fans of Tonali. But as Michael said, this is a blockbuster deal. This is a huge deal. He went to Newcastle a few years ago in a package that was worth between 55 and 60 million pounds. So for Newcastle to sell, which they don't want to do because he's their prized asset, it would have to be a seismic offer.
A seismic offer? A club record offer, Michael?
I think it would be, Joe. I mean, Newcastle United would probably look for around, I don't know, sort of around the 80 million mark, would they say? And
possibly even more.
Maybe even more. We'll wait and see. But you look at Arsenal. Declan Rice is a £100 million bargain. What has Declan Rice done to Arsenal Football Club? He's elevated them at so many levels. And Sandro Tonali would elevate Tottenham's midfield to a number of levels as well. But Tottenham, they've gone guns blazing already, Joe. Look, Marcus Senesi is a really good sign. You know all about Marcus Senesi at Bournemouth. Andy Robertson, extra leadership. You love Andy Robertson. What he's done for Scotland and what he's going to bring to that Tottenham back line, the changing room. They want John Paul Van Hecker at Brighton. They like Savinio. They're looking to make some big changes because their message was clear. They never want to be down that bottom again.
And Mark, I mean, we're talking about the Tottenham perspective, but what about the Newcastle perspective? You said Newcastle fans won't like you saying that lots of clubs potentially interested in him. Eddie Howe won't want to lose one of his best players. Does it feel like it might be another summer of change at Newcastle?
Yeah, it will be a really interesting summer in the northeast because it's going to be almost very similar. I liken it to when Eddie first went into the football club in November 2021. That January in 2022 was a transformation window. It was an opportunity to recruit, to sign. It was the start of a new era, and they had to rebuild Newcastle United. It feels like this is another window that's going to see a complete refresh in the squad, a different transfer philosophy. They'll be looking for younger players. You saw last summer they're signing players at 50, 60, 70 million. They were linked with Mbumo and Shesko. These are big players that command big wages, and the transfer fees are huge as well. It's not going to be like that at Newcastle. They're going to have to shop in a different circle. They don't have European football to worry about, and the types of players they're going to be looking at are going to be younger, cheaper, but players that they can mould and develop into Newcastle superstars, and that's going to be the remit. So I think Newcastle fans maybe just have to adjust ever so slightly their expectations this season. The first person that has high expectations is Eddie Howe. He will say, look, you know, I want to be in the top half of the table at minimum. I want to be challenging for European football. I want to have Champions League campaigns. I want to get to the latter stages of cup competitions. That's my remit. But I understand that we're at the start of a new journey, so therefore we have to be a little bit careful. They won't want to lose someone who is so instrumental to that midfield. One of the big things about Sandro Tonali, not only is he very technically gifted, but he can play in multiple positions. And I know that's an area of concern, isn't it, for Tottenham? They want a midfielder that can command through the middle, who's very good on the ball and can make things happen. And that's exactly the kind of missing piece that Roberto De Zerbi wants.
Absolutely right. Spurs signed Conor Gallagher last January for high wages. Rodrigo Bentancur came back in under De Zerbi, played ever so well. They've got Lucas Bergvall. They've got Archie Gray. They've also got Pape Sarr. They're going to have to make some decisions. But as I go back to it, the message is clear. They want to elevate all areas of their 11, and this guy would certainly do that.
What about Sandro Tonali's perspective, though? Because if there are other clubs interested in him as well, you look at Spurs, you look what happened last season, finishing 17th. Why would Tonali want to go to Tottenham?
Well, look, firstly, London. I mean, London would probably be a factor as well. Maybe he feels like he's had a good few years at Newcastle United and would like the change. I don't think Newcastle fans would mind me saying it was hard for him to leave Italy when he did join Newcastle United. That doesn't mean he's not given 110% since. And Newcastle fans would say we've stuck by him through certain situations he's had. But I think as well with Tottenham Hotspur, you can't get away from the fact that players still come to this football club. And when Spurs were in relegation problems, you couldn't get away with it. Back of the papers every day, on Sky Sports News every day. It was a big, big story. You had the likes of Newcastle fans and Villa fans, Leeds fans. Wouldn't it be amazing if Spurs got relegated? It gets them away from, the Premier League for a year. But they haven't gone down, and you can see the reaction from the football club that they mean business and they don't want to be anywhere near there again.
OK, Michael, Mark, you'll be back a little later for more transfer news. But for now, thank you very much.
In a moment, we'll say hello to Rio Ferdinand. We had him just seconds ago, but his line has dropped. While we're waiting for Rio, have you seen the stuff that he's posted on social? He's sitting by the pool with Joel Bayers there as well. Have you seen him and his gang out there?
Stephen Housen, I think his name is.
Who's Stephen Housen?
That's one of his other colleagues that he works with. Yeah.
He's living the life, isn't he, the boy?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and it's actually quite surprising because you don't really see obviously him on TNT anymore. But he's obviously Rio Ferdinand Presents is flying.
Yeah.
Just sitting down with that Kaka and that.
I know.
Big dogs, man.
Yeah. Well, he's got one of the reasons we've got him on. He's got another superstar. He's got another superstar on his podcast. Meeting comes out tomorrow. Should we say hello to him? I think the line works. Delighted to say we can cross live to the States and speak to the legendary former Man United and England defender, the superstar that is Rio. Look at the big grin on his face. Morning, Rio Ferdinand.
How you doing, guys? You not get the call up to come out, guys?
We come out for the latter stages. We don't bother with the early rounds.
Oh, okay. How you doing? Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
By the way, I love the show. Man.
Oh, how kind of that's very nice of you. Yeah. Very nice. It doesn't. I'll be honest. It doesn't look like you're in a traditional American cab.
No, we don't do taxis out here. Sorry, man. Just got show at the moment. But no, I'm joking, man. No. You know what? It's all the cars are massive out here. By the way, seriously, it's different. Everything in America's bigger. The food, the drinks, the cars, the lot.
Yeah, Rio, not everything. Right, we'll talk England in just a moment. Where you're in LA, let's find out where you are. You're in LA. What have you been doing tonight?
Yeah, man. Listen, Airbnb have sorted me out with an unbelievable pad out in Beverly Hills. So I'm up in the hills, having a wonderful time. I've brought the podcast out here. I've got Joe, I've got Steve, my co-host on the podcast, and we just got some wild guests coming through the house on a regular basis. So shooting the pod out here, doing loads of content. I'm doing the Fox show with James Corden as well after hours.
Oh, have you just done that with him? Is that where you're coming back from?
Yeah, I've just finished that now. I'm going back to the villa after that. But the show was great, man. It was good, man. We had some good times.
And I understand you got a superstar on your podcast. Is it tomorrow? Another big name coming out?
Yeah, we've got the one and only Mr. Thierry Henry, man. So he's can't wait for him. He's been brilliant. I mean, I've been speaking to him for a while, trying to get him on, and he's obviously a busy guy. But we finally got him. And we sit there and we listen and we just chop it up, man. And that's what we do. We create a space, a really comfortable environment where the guys trust us, and they open up and we get a side of them that we don't normally see when they're a little bit uptight sometimes in live settings.
Did you have to buy him a £500 coat hanger?
What are you talking about?
There's a story years ago, I think when he joined Sky, that one of his demands on his rider was a £500 coat hanger. Do you not remember that?
No, listen, man. Between friends, there ain't no riders, man. He just turned up, he had a cup of coffee, and that was it. He's chilled, easy.
Good.
I tell you what, Rio, that conversation about Ronaldo is going to be interesting on that part. I can't wait to hear that little story.
Do you know what? That's probably now, after what's gone on this week, it's probably one of the key talking points, and we're going to pump that out because I think that, everyone gets as a perception of Thierry and the way he sees Cristiano Ronaldo, but I think he kind of puts it to bed in a good way, as he does when he talks on the pod.
Well, let's get your view on that, actually, because Bentley and I were talking about that in great detail on yesterday's show, about whether or not he should start, how much game time he should have. Because it's Cristiano Ronaldo, I think there's so much pressure on the manager, Roberto Martinez, to pick him, to start him, etc. What's your view on a situation like that? What do you do, Rio?
Well, Roberto Martinez is paid the money to make this decision, and I think it's the way that he handles that it will be key. I think if he was going to attempt to kind of take Cristiano Ronaldo out of the team, I think it's all about the narrative. I think it's all about approaching him and going, listen, if he thinks this is how I'll do it. We've got a better chance of winning it for you coming on with 30 minutes to go when the opposition are tired, when their limbs are all weary, lactic acid is building up in all these players' legs, and they see Cristiano Ronaldo warming up on the side, and you come on and terrorise them and capitalise on that. in the latter stages of the games. Do you think anyone's going to be bothered when you lift that trophy as our captain? No. So here we go. You're going to start some games, but then some you're not going to start. But that's part of the plan. And at 41 years old, I'm sure that Cristiano would understand that because, listen, we all know, Benny, you're the same. When we were getting older, things weren't working as quickly, as smoothly as they once were. But there's no denying the guy's potent. When the ball drops in the box, if you had three players to the top 3 players in the world for the ball to drop to, he'd be one of the guys you wanted to drop to even still now because he's that potent. He's got almost 1,000 goals. But listen, if it was down to me, I think I would take that same approach I just mentioned there. I'd pull him in and out of games depending on the opponents. And I just have to make sure that I talk to him and make sure he understands that. But one thing I would say when I watched him, I think a lot of blame and a lot of people are pointing the finger at Cristiano. I don't think the actual service into him was great either, by the way, or an opportunity to put his way often. I saw quite a few options to play the ball forward, didn't take them options up. And I think if you're going to have him in your team, you've got to find him as often as you can. And they've got great players who can do that.
Yeah, they've got a great midfield. Ria, I've got to speak to you about England then. Obviously, of course, the result the other day. Really good second half performance. First and foremost, what did you make of the performance? And some people are saying it's the best half of football they've seen England play in years.
Well, what I was really impressed with, there's 2 things. The turnaround in the second half, and you saw Harry Kane, Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham all come out speaking glowingly about the manager's team talk at half-time. So that's an absolute massive, massive, massive plus because a manager that's very aggressive, he's punchy, and he ain't going to go out trying to stay in a game. He's going to go out trying to win a game, and if it doesn't happen, he ain't going to be for the want of trying. And the second thing is, he's aggressive substitutions and really decisive substitutions in the second half late on, where normally you see a lot of managers go, we're going to protect this lead. He's saying, no, I've got my foot on their throat and we're going to finish them off. And I love that. And if that's going to be the way we go about this tournament, we're going to have a good time.
I totally agree with you. I said that actually. Do you think that's the difference between what Southgate would have done and maybe bring on like a Calvin Phillips, a holder, to make sure we didn't lose the game?
Yeah, Southgate and a lot of other managers have done that. And I think that was probably when you're looking back now, it's a great thing having hindsight, but our Achilles heel probably, even though we've got further than any team since '66 in these last couple of tournaments, we still were playing at times, it felt, with the shackles on or the handbrake half up in the critical moments, in the biggest moments for England in these big games. And so with that comes kind of apprehension and a bit of anxiousness when you're watching those games, right? And Benty, you've been in them England squads, yeah? A lot of the guys in them teams and as a unit, as a team, as well as individuals, we were scared to lose games. And this team in that second half just looked like a team that were just freed up. And that bodes well for us.
Yeah, I agree. I think going forward, when you bring on the likes of Rashford, I mean, I would have started Rashford, but his impact coming off the bench, I thought was absolutely incredible. But from a defensive standpoint, Rio, I thought, me personally, I thought he got the 2 centre-halves wrong. Like, John Stones, I know how good he's been, but I would have started Mark Gahey after the season he's had alongside Konza. What did you make of England defensively, certainly in that first half?
Well, I think he played Stones on the left-hand side to help Nico O'Reilly because he knows him at the club, he's experienced, and just put him on that side. John Stones doesn't really play on the left. So that was going to be a whole new experience for him, and it's more difficult than people probably give it any credit for. Mark Gay has been our mainstay since the last tournament, so I was really shocked that he wasn't playing. I thought it was Mark Gay plus someone else. Konza's had a wonderful season, but I would have played Gay, and after this season, I'd probably played Gay and Konza. But what I would say, people were saying, our defence were really bad and whatnot. They scored 2 goals. Sometimes you have to give credit to the attacking team, you know. There were 2 really, really well-worked goals with quality. So I look at it and go, there's improvements to be made, but I'm not going to really get out of my prime and go, oh, how bad they were, because I don't think it was that case. They had 2 really high-quality moments, and they capitalised.
Yeah. It's interesting you say you put Stones on the left of the centre-half pairing to help out O'Reilly, and I totally understand that. But do you think it comes at a cost? Because we weren't really using Anthony Gordon a lot in the first half. Everything seemed to be going down the right with Noni Madueke, and every time that Kane picked up the ball quite deep and he's turning, obviously he's going to turn and use his right foot to flick it out to the right. So whilst I totally agree with you that Stones was there to help out O'Reilly, it does come at a cost, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's down to Stones playing on the left. I just think that's the way the game and the style of the game played out. And different games are going to bring different pictures for players. And then another game, the left-hand side will get more of the ball. And I think you can have a game plan, but the game will play out the way it naturally does. But I just look at it and go, 2, 3, 4 years ago, if we were sitting there and going, do you know what? Marcus Rashford and Saka are going to come on and replace our two wingers in a tournament game, we would have all laughed and gone, no chance. They're our guaranteed starters. Them boys are going to win us this tournament. That shows you the depth that we've got in this squad, and I think that makes us a scary opposition for opponents.
So in the next game against Ghana then, because again, second half was fantastic, what do you want to see? What do you think needs to improve? I know it was a fantastic game, the first one, but what needs to improve, do you think, to go to another level against Ghana? And certainly the way we progress for the tournament.
Yeah, I think we just need to start better, start well, get the rhythm of the game from the off, be aggressive, be very aggressive against them. And again, it's not about the team selection, really. I think if he changes the wingers, then great. It's about a real just harmonising that squad and making sure we understand we've all got a role to play. And like we said, Anthony Gordon started. He gets the buzz in the beginning, but then who walks off the pitch feeling like elated and being a million miles tall? Marcus Rashford, because he's had a chance to come on and he's impacted the game. It could be the other way round in the next one. And we just got to make sure that everyone stays in tune, everyone stays engaged, and it ain't necessarily about who starts, it's how we finish.
Yeah. Benny made a really good point on yesterday's show about Harry Kane, saying it's the most fresh he's ever seen him at the start of a tournament. What did you make about his performance, Rio?
Yeah, I agree. And there's many times he's come into a tournament, he's been, listen, he's our talisman, he's our goal scorer, he's the main man, he's the captain, and performance-wise hasn't really materialised at times. But again, that was the nearest to the Bayern Munich Harry Kane I've seen in an England shirt, and I was just delighted to see it. If we're going to do anything and we're going to win, man, Harry Kane has to be firing. Simple as that. He's our world-class talent, our genuine world-class player. He's the captain, he's the main man. But again, I think added to that, you've got Jude Bellingham. I think a lot of people were, he shouldn't play, he shouldn't do this. Listen, man, he's a moments guy. He wants the biggest moments. He wants to be the match winner. He wants to be the main man for England. And he's got the personality, the character, and most of all, he's got the quality and the mindset. So Jude Bellingham is the man as well, man.
Listen, and there's no disrespect to the other players, right? But do you think Harry Kane, like no disrespect to Ollie Watkins or Ivan, I like them both, but do you think Harry Kane's probably the only player in the squad that we just can't replace? Like if he was to get injured, like the levels will come down a little bit. And again, that's no disrespect to the other players, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think you've got the option of playing Jude up there. Jude done that when they won the treble at Real Madrid. He was the furthest man forward, so we could do that. I don't see Tuchel shying away from that. But I would say as well that Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins will bring something different and something that Harry Kane doesn't possess in their games. They have different attributes that will be very, very good and very positive for the team as well. So I like the fact that they're different from Harry. Listen, you're not going to find another Harry Kane with the quality that he's got in world football, let alone within our squad. So that's just natural. That's just normal. But these guys, Ollie Watkins showed in the last tournament, he can come on and be an impact and he have an effect. So we've got them guys, and the more players that, again, I keep stressing this, that understand their role within the squad. I may not be a starter, but I can have an impact and help us win a trophy for England.
Usually I'd say, who do you think is going to win it? But obviously you're going to say England. If it's not England, who are your second favourites?
If it's not England, my second favourites after the first round of games will be France. Again, they were the same as us. Started a bit sloppy, not sloppy, but started a little bit offbeat, but then worked it out in the second half. And they're probably the only team that I look at and go in the attacking areas. They've probably got a bit more than us.
Yeah, agree.
Everyone else, I'd say we're probably above, and it's especially with the depth we've got. But listen, man, everyone's talking about Mbappe, and rightly so. He scored 2 goals. But Michael Elise, if he's not on that pitch, Mbappe don't score them goals because he's passing, his awareness, his elusiveness. Before the first goal Kylian Mbappe scored, please just go back and watch his movement to get on the ball, and then he shakes and bakes a defender, and then the pass and the weight of it. Beautiful.
Shake and bake.
Rio, we've got to go to a little break. I'm led to believe that we've got you for the next 2 hours. Is that right?
Yeah, well, on another day, maybe. I'm going out on the town, mate.
What time is it now? What are you doing tonight? Where are you off to?
It's 10:30, is it? Yeah. It's 10:30 coming up now, and I'm just going out to a restaurant to get some food because I've not eaten yet. So I'm gonna have some food, and there will be a couple of drinks on the table to wash that down with, no doubts.
I'm jealous. I used to go to LA every year.
Oh, I bet.
I'm jealous.
Where are you not going to be when you come out here? We can link up.
We fly out to New York on July the 4th, and then we're off to Miami. Hopefully, if it's England, Brazil, and Miami, we're off to Miami for a few days, then back to New York.
What a shame, guys. What a shame.
Are you about?
He's in LA, he's on the West Coast.
I'm in LA, man. I'm in Beverly Hills. I'm in Hollywood, baby. That's where we are.
I hope it rains. Rio, I really genuinely appreciate your time, man. You're looking great. Thanks so much, pal.
Cheers, Rio.
Lovely to speak to you guys. Keep doing your thing with the show. Love it.
Likewise as well. And good luck with the Thierry Henry podcast. Thanks, pal.
Thank you. Good luck, man.
Thanks,
Take care. Good night.
That will be a great podcast. Don't forget to check out Rio's podcast with Thierry Henry. I think it drops tomorrow. It's going to be sensational.
Drops tomorrow.
With England, of course, they got themselves off and running last night with a penalty kick. Harry Kane took it, but having missed it, the goalkeeper, the Croatian goalkeeper, Dominik Livakovic, was deemed to have moved on the line, came off his line, so the penalty kick was taken again. Harry stepped up for a second time and took it and scored. Now, of course, Brad Friedel, former US goalkeeper, 82 caps, former Liverpool, Blackburn, Galatasaray, amongst others. Brad, I don't know if you know the stats, mate, but you did not badly when it came to penalty kicks. You saved 15 of them in your career, and 2 of them were World Cup penalties. What was your take on that? Because the goalkeeper last night, we watched it, he just came off his line in an attempt to gain some kind of an advantage against Kane, but he saved it and saved it well. Can penalty kicks these days be any more stacked against you guys, against the goalies?
Well, they're supposed to be stacked against us because it's an infraction of the rules that gives the opposition team an advantage. So I have no problem with that. And technology is what it is. He was off his line. I mean, it's harsh, but he was off his line a little bit. What goalkeepers have to do now, which I never had to do, because you're not going to see that by the naked eye of the linesman, or if you did, you'd be upset about it. Yeah, start a little bit behind the line, and you have to make sure that your planting foot can go ahead, but that your back foot drags along the line a little bit to make sure that you're attached to it. And goalkeepers do work on that, and I think he tried to do that, to be honest with you. Just a fraction, he got it wrong. So. But I have no problem with it being called back. I thought it was the correct decision. And as far as there being advantage, that's what the rules of the game say.
And you know this kid, the Croatian goalkeeper, don't you?
Yeah, I know him well. He's a good goalkeeper. He was at Fenerbahce when I was at Beşiktaş. Very good reaction saves. You saw him the saves that he made last night. If not for him, England could have gotten their 5th out of the 6th goal. So.
I mean, you posed the question as if it can be any more disadvantageous for the goalkeepers. There was a point, and I think I'm right in saying this, the goalkeepers couldn't move full stop. They can move across their line now. They can't move in front of their line. There was a period of time when goalkeepers couldn't move, and if they'd moved even across the line, they were being penalised. So I think we're fortunate in that situation because it was such a small margin. It was a poor penalty from Harry. I don't think the second penalty was that great either. It did its job. And he was slightly nervous. And what you needed Harry to do, and okay, I'm just nitpicking here, but what you needed Harry to do was step up and bang it in the back of the net and set the pace and set the tone. He didn't. We got a bit fortunate because it was a tiny margin, and that could have been a really pivotal moment. I don't think it would have been, but notwithstanding that, the question was how much advantage can goalkeepers have? Brad's answered it by saying it's not supposed to be an advantage.
The days of Grobbelaar, Simon, the days of Grobbelaar doing all this with the shaking of the knees and the legs.
There's 2 things. You'll probably be surprised at this. I think I've probably said it in front of you. There's 2 things. One, the goalkeeper shouldn't have the advantage when it comes to taking a penalty, no problem, and a goalkeeper's overprotected on crosses into the box and corner kicks nowadays. I mean, I don't. It's nice to hear people say it. Well, I don't see any.
He's not playing anymore.
No, you can ask any of my team. No problem when I play. So, but I have no problem with the striker going for the actual ball, and if you collide bodies, no problem. We can put our arms in the air, and we can punch. And actually, if we're really clever, we can punch head and ball. If you
had that a few times,
if you can. What is a foul is if you come across our arms, if you pull the shirt, then that's a foul. But I do think any time a goalkeeper falls over, the likelihood is a referee's gonna blow a foul.
You used to just blast them, Troy, didn't you? And you had big success from that.
Do you know what? I changed after I listened to one of these bloody analysts who tell you, oh, the keeper goes this way all the time. We played Spurs, and it was Hugo Lloris came off, and I can't remember the guy's name who was in, begin with a G. We got a penalty in the last minute, and this analyst had told me, don't know where he'd come from. He always dives.
Michel Vorm?
No, he always dives to his right. I was going, okay, no problem. I'll go to the left then. He dives to his left. We drew a 1-1. And everyone goes, why did you change your mind? This analyst never worked again, let's put it that way.
Right.
But changed then and just hit it as hard as I can down the middle.
I mean, Harry Kane had done his homework. When I watched the clips, I saw he likes to move early. So I knew that there was a chance if I did the stutter, which he did, he'd come off his line, which he did. Brad, a lot of people getting in touch with the show today, asking me to ask you, Jordan Pickford, how do you rate him?
I rate him very highly. I think he's won me over the last 3 or 4 years. You're asking on the. I assume they're asking, do I think he should have saved the first goal? Was it? And that's probably why they're calling. I would say I don't think he should have saved it, but I think he could have saved it. I mean, but I'm not putting it down as an out-and-out error. The one thing when you look at a goalkeeper, this is where I will go into the goalkeepers union. When you look at the goals against, you don't know unless you're in the shoes. Are you unsighted at all? Are you like you just don't know. So this is where I would have a little bit of a neutral stance on whether it was an out-and-out error. Now he did get a decent hand to it, even in that position. I do think there was good weight on the ball, and the ball was going away from him. I think when Jordan Pickford looks at it, what he will look at, starting position, he'll look at his feet being set, but he'll also know if he lost sight of the ball by one of his defenders. If he didn't, then I think he might be a little bit disappointed that he didn't save it. If he was unsighted, then you have to say this happens.
Why you rate him so highly? Because I think I've played against him. I understand he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But this is not his fault. I don't think there's a great cast of goalkeepers at the moment that we can choose from.
Well, there's a message coming in, Brad. It's simple. He's not big enough. I mean, honestly, nonsense.
No.
What height are you?
It's personal.
How good was Bartes?
No,
you're a big guy.
No, he wasn't a goalkeeper.
He wasn't for me, but Iker Casillas.
But I like him.
Bartes not as much, but Iker Casillas.
But I think
Shea Given wasn't the biggest.
Van der Sar, you're big guys.
Yeah, but okay. So Iker Casillas, good goalkeeper, or bad goalkeeper?
Great goalkeeper.
Yeah, great.
Okay,
right.
He wasn't tall.
Right.
Okay,
right,
so it can't happen. No, you just lost. What
no, I just wanted to know why you're so.
So I was never high on Jordan Pickford. I said it on the show. And in the last 3 or 4 years, I've been watching a really struggling Everton team get pulled out of the mire time and time again when it mattered. Yeah. Not so much in a game that didn't have pressure or consequences. When real big pressure games, Jordan Pickford was there for his team. Yeah. And he won me over.
Yeah. You were having a snigger at that, Simon. That is a quote from Kane. When I watched the clips, I saw he likes to move early, the goalkeeper. So I knew there was a chance that if I did the stutter, he'd come off his line. And that is last night exactly what happened.
But if he comes off his line and you bang it the other way, what difference does it make? I mean, that's almost... What are you trying to draw a foul out of a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Do you know what he's trying to say there, Brad? I kind of get it.
I don't think Harry... I think that's...
Is it too kind on Harry?
No. I don't think he was thinking that he wanted to bring the goalkeeper off his line. I think he was trying to do a stutter step to send the goalkeeper the wrong way. But I don't think any striker has ever said, I'm going to stutter so I get to...
I hope I get another penalty again. Yeah. I hope I get all this pressure again. That'll be great.
Yes, retrospectively. Osasu, like you, I can't really tolerate it when people rear up and criticise, for various reasons, various aspects of African football, and yet those same critics seem to have been handed it on a plate with Tunisia sacking their new manager after just one game. They sacked their manager, Sabri Lamouchi, after the 5-1 defeat by Sweden. The optics are not good, are they?
Well, let me tell you a little story, Jim, because you're new to African football. This is not the first time Tunisia have done something like this. In 1994, during the African Cup of Nations in Tunisia, which Tunisia were hosting, the manager, Youssef Zouaoui, lost the opening game of the AFCON 3-1 to Mali in Tunis, and he was fired immediately after. So it's not the first time the Tunisians have done this. And to be honest, I have no pity for Lamouchi, because in my opinion, there was no reason for Sami Trabelsi, who qualified Tunisia for the World Cup, to have been sacked after the last AFCON in Morocco. He should have been allowed to take the team here because he earned the ticket. So the Tunisian Football Federation, to put it mildly, is in a state of utter chaos. The president of the Tunisian Football Federation is responsible for the mess we are having now with regards to who won the AFCON and the appeal and the decision of the CAF Appeals Committee, because he was a member. And a politically exposed person is not supposed to be a member of a judicial body. And the fact that he's a lawyer and he didn't even realize at the moment he became president of the federation, he should have resigned from the CAF Appeals Board is just mind-boggling to me. It's so much nonsense going on in Tunisia at the moment.
I want to finish on a positive note, Sasu. Simon and I were at Brazil-Morocco in their opening group game. It was a goal apiece, but Simon, I think you'd agree, the shining light was 18-year-old Ayoub Bouadi. For
player, that guy.
Morocco. What a player. Plays for Leo, right?
Not for long.
Not for long, because now Arsenal, it's being reported back home, are showing big interest, Osasu, in Ayoub Bouadi. What do you think? Would a move to the Premier League come too soon for this boy at 18 years of age? Or do you think, no, this is a wonderful story, let's see this out, let's see him go to the Premier League in England?
My feeling is that when players are young, because you see, the Premier League is a tough league, you have to be ready to hit the ground running in the Premier League. There's no room for growth because the managers want the results, not today, they wanted it the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
So as an 18-year-old, it depends. You know, these, as you would know, having owned a club, before you pick a player, you do your investigation, you look at the family of the player, the character, to see whether the person has the right mental attitude for the kind of job you want him to do. Should he go to the Premier League? I think he should in time. Is he ready at 18 at the moment? I don't know. It depends, but he is definitely a talented player.
We sat together. We loved watching him, Osasu. You were nudging me saying, look at this kid. He's running it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the advantages he had was that he had a redundant Brazil midfield, and he won't have that against other opposition. But, oh, no, he's a player. Whether he should have an interim step. It's interesting, Jude Bellingham went from English football to German football and then ended up at Real Madrid, didn't bypass the Premier League. But he decided, and that might have been for a variety of different reasons. I think at 18 years of age, signing for an Arsenal is not signing as a first-team player, and that depends whether that's his direction of travel and he's prepared to take that route. I would say that there's definitely a pathway for a player of that perceived talent. We're very early at our viewing of so many times do you see a player and see his circumstances and elevate immediately. You've got to see him in a variety of different spaces and places.
Yeah. Do Ghana beat Panama today in their what do you think, in their opening game, Osasu?
They should, but, you know, as they say, the ball is round, the field is green. It's 11 men against 11, and on any given day, any team can be beaten. So,
yeah. And England, Croatia, Simon, what do you want to see tonight, my friend?
I want to see exactly what Ben Foster described, which is I think there is a possibility that if England play very well, that they can put out a very significant result. I don't think there is this. I don't think Thomas Tuchel allows himself to suggest that actually we need to get our engine started. He'll want to hit the ground running. But what I want to see is exactly what Ben described, which is front foot football with a degree of ambition about it, and that'll do the job. If we win 1-0, you know, we won't do a national holiday like you guys do, but we will ultimately be one task done. I fancy England to do well tonight, and I don't just mean win the game. I fancy them to win it handsomely. But, you know, that will mean that I'll be a hostage to fortune to the way that they play. But I'll take that stance. I think England will play well tonight and win convincingly.
Osasu, thank you for joining us again today.
My pleasure, as always.
Enjoying having you here on the 50th floor of the World Trade Centre. Up next, Roy Jennings and Darren Bent on World Cup Game Day Live. And of course, they're doing that for a reason. The reason being, later tonight, back home in the UK, with us in the afternoon here in the US of A, England get their engines started up against Croatia. Let's see what England under Thomas Tuchel can do. From us in New York, it's bye for now. Looking forward to a lovely morning and a pretty decent afternoon as well, because the sun is shining and we're going to get out there. Thanks for being with us today, live on Talk Sport.
Let's go to Robert now. He's a Newcastle fan. All right, Rob? All right, Rob?
Yeah, right, boys. How you doing?
All right, Rob. You good?
Good. All right, good.
Go on, what do you want to say, Rob?
Ask Nico O'Reilly at left back, mate. He's dreadful. He was so bad. He's the biggest liability out of that squad at left back. Useless.
Wow. Bit harsh.
He's so bad at defending.
He's not bad, mate. Come on, give it a rest.
He can't.
Oh, I get it. I get it now. I get it. Because Lewis Hall didn't go. Is that where you're driving at?
Well, I mean, he could lead on at that, but that's not the reason. But he was absolutely liability at left back.
I have to say, I didn't think he played particularly well first half. He looked a bit nervous. I thought we all did. I wasn't impressed with Reece. I'm a massive Reece James fan. Didn't think he played particularly well. But your criticism is just completely over the top. He's a brilliant young footballer.
Nah.
What do you mean, nah? Nah.
No, I think when he was up top and he was making chances in the second half, he was good. He was good. Can't defend. He's like Trent. He can't defend.
I don't know how you come to that conclusion. Have you watched him all season?
Yeah, I have. But City, he can defend. I'm not that particular game.
I don't think he played well first half. Jay and I said it last night. I thought both fullbacks were poor. I thought defensively all four of them actually were. In fact, I don't want to point fingers, right? But I thought everyone was way below. And we saw second half. I thought he grew into the game. I don't know what who are you playing there then?
Well,
you can't say Lewis Hall.
Can't say Lewis Hall.
Can't say Livramento.
No.
Can't say Livramento.
So basically, Anthony Gordon's the only. Oh no, you went to Barcelona.
Gordon was a little ghost. Didn't get anything off him.
You've got Dan Burn. You want Dan Burn at left back? Is that what you're saying now?
No.
Big Danny B.
No.
Of someone that's not of Newcastle persuasion, who are you playing there?
Well, I think he's the best option, but we're not stacked on left backs, are we?
No, but I mean, Jed Spence can play there. Dan Burn can play there.
I don't. Dan Burn's too slow.
No, I'm not starting him. Trust me. Right? I'm just saying who can play there. I'm not saying I would start them. I don't think Nick O'Reilly's going to be a problem.
Jed Spence was better when he came on.
Yeah, he played game on. Like I said, the game had changed and he affected the game. He's an athlete and he brought fresh legs on. And this is something Jay and I spoke about for a number of weeks. Come on, affect the game in a positive way, because fresh legs, and when you are an athlete and you have got pace to burn, and that goal came down the right hand side. You know, I think. And I don't know, but
come on, Rob, give him a bit. Come on, he's had a great season at Man City. Give him a brilliant.
I'm not saying he's a terrible player.
You just said that.
Just said he's useless.
Just said he's useless.
No, at defending, not overall.
Well, that's his job at left back.
Well, what do you mean? What? Yeah, but I'm saying he's not good at defending. He was good going up and forward and attacking, but he wasn't good at defending.
So he's a useless defender.
He's a useless defender.
I think it's harsh, mate.
It's harsh, mate.
I think you're out of order.
Out of order.
I think you need to just get over it, mate.
Yeah,
I think
Lewis
you
Hall
just,
didn't go, mate. Come on.
you know, just get over it.
Lick your wounds. Lick your wounds, mate. I thought Lewis Hall, Jay and I both said this, I thought Lewis Hall's desperate and lucky not being in the squad, but he's not there. Don't take out your frustration.
No, he isn't.
Rob, just while I've got you, Newcastle, how much you want for Tonali? We'll give you 60.
100 mil.
We'll give you 60.
100 mil.
No, we'll give you 60. 60 mil, we go. 5-year deal at Spurs. It's done deal.
5 years. 5-year deal.
Yeah, he's going to go, mate.
How much you taking?
You've got to sell.
How much you taking? Come on,
We have to sell.
you're paupers.
We do have to sell.
Yeah. How much you taking?
It's 100 mil. 100 mil.
100 mil?
How much do you want for Guimaraes?
For what?
Guimaraes. How much do you want for him? Off your 62.
Are you trying to do? You know when the Newcastle fan came on, you go, "Don't have to sell." Are you trying to recreate that?
No, I'm just asking a question.
No, we're just trying to do a deal on the phone.
62 million. Come on, boys. Don't do it.
What
Don't
do you
be
want?
like this.
What do you want?
What, for Bruno?
Yeah.
120 million. 120 million easily.
120 mil?
Yeah.
You want?
Sold Isak for that?
Yeah. Come on, mate. Come on. You're not doing that. I tell you what I do. I'll do you a favour. 72.
72.
72 million.
Give over.
All up
Give
front
over.
with add-ons.
Yeah, you can sign a couple of players again. You know, like what you did with Baltamada and Wissa.
Yeah.
Went well, that didn't it?
Yeah.
What about as a good player? Come on, boys.
Yeah, it's a good signing, mate.
So what we doing? I'm doing 72. Bruno.
70. Waffling, Jason. You're waffling. Talking absolute guff.
Trying to say it's two best midfielders, you and me. Piling.
It's a shame. It's a shame because you're a good club, mate. But you know, you're a selling club.
They're paupers, mate. Of the Premier League, they are.
It's a future. I'm not. You know.
Yeah, they're paupers.
It's the future.
What do you mean, paupers?
Well, you know, I just say they're paupers. They're in the big league.
Yeah.
They're just one of these clubs. That,
What, like Brighton?
Yeah. They're Brighton of the North.
Wow.
They're bigger than Brighton, but they are paupers, aren't they? Bruno. Okay, last deal. Is he there? Last deal. Rob? 75.
Yeah. 75. Come on. Come on, Jason. Don't be on the rage,
mate.
No,
mate.
Come
75,
on.
75 for Bruno, 75 for Tonali. You got 150 million there, mate.
Come on. Shake on it now.
There you go.
Shake on it now. Rob.
You can pay off your PSR.
Rob, you can rebuild that front line. You wasted money on.
Rob, see you later.
Cheers, Rob.
Oh dear.
Poor Rob's under pressure. They felt like he was his man. Felt like he was actually in the boardroom, didn't it?
Calling the charlatans.
Going back. He's thinking about phoning. Can we go sell him? 75. Can I push it up? Push it up to 80.
Newcastle fans will start getting the up now if they do keep selling players.
I know. I've said this. I feel for them. I think FFP and all that. It's just a. I feel for Newcastle. I feel for Villa. There's no way they should have to sell their bet. Elliot Anderson left them 30 million.
Yeah, I know.
He's now going to go for over 100 million or thereabouts, about 100 million more inside 2 seasons. It's not on.
Let's go to Anas, who's a Villa fan. Anas?
All right, Anas.
You all right, guys? Hi, JB. Hi, Jay. You all right?
Yeah, we're good, matey. You all right?
I just, I got you on live, and I love what Jason is wearing. I mean, as a Moroccan fan.
Yeah, go on. I mean,
Moroccan fan, okay.
Right, you're taking on Scotland tomorrow at 11 o'clock live on TalkSport.
Yes, indeed, yeah. And hopefully we will get the result same as 1998 when we've done it in France.
Right. Okay.
It's a good shirt, that. I'm not going to lie, Anas. It's a nice shirt.
It is. It's really nice, and it's basically a very...
Mate, don't ever do that again. Don't kiss the badge. Don't listen.
I didn't know I was on camera.
No, don't. You was on camera then. Don't kiss the badge. Don't do that.
No, just clear a little bit of someone. I've done that. Just wipe my mouth.
I don't ever want to see you do that again. That's disgusting.
Yeah, go on, keep talking.
That was going to say. Hopefully, we will be a good game for us tomorrow, and if we don't make it to the final, hopefully England will bring it home.
Oh, come on, you're beating Scotland.
Well, hopefully, easily. I mean, we'll feed them some couscous.
You're a bit of a dark horse, Morocco. You're a good side.
Well, we were a dark horse in 2022, but for now, I mean, to be on the 6th position on the FIFA ranking, I don't think we're a dark horse anymore.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, they are. I mean, are you AFCON champions? I don't know. What happened?
Well, what happened there?
I don't know. Are you or not? I don't know. Is it in the courts?
Well, yeah, still on court. But to be fair, I mean, this is not the way we want to win it. But when we play with professional players, and when everyone is watching, big game, big scene, and then you get players like, for example, what's the name of the Everton midfielders and the winger? They've leaving the pitch. This is not what you want to see. We are in 2026. We need to give good image about African football.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Alice, listen, mate, thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Have you seen the Bouadi boy? Have you seen him?
The young lad.
He's
I've got some good players.
Yes, he's there's always that cab off the rank, the next young bright thing. He's very much in that clutch.
Yeah,
Good morning, world. Seeing as everyone saw their ass me saying England yesterday. I was just specifically talking to England yesterday. But either way, it is what it is. Good morning, world. Specifically those in the great, Greenwich Mean Time sort of vein. Right, lads, Liverpool are doing it again. 100 million. This time on a 19-year-old. Is it smart or is it mental? Ornstein dropped a bit of a bomb at the Athletic yesterday afternoon. Liverpool have informed RB Leipzig of their willingness to pay a package approaching 100 million for 19-year-old Yan Diomande. Now, this is a player that I think is very exciting, someone that a lot of you guys have been pretty hot on in my comments and talking about scout reports and this, that and the other that we've done for him. That would make him, well, he's certainly the most expensive teenager in Liverpool history. I don't know if that's the most expensive teenager of all time. It's got to be close, right? PSG are also in the race, but reportedly they're behind Liverpool on personal terms. So this one could actually happen. 8 months ago, Liverpool spent 100 million plus, 116 in total, on Florian Wirtz. That was their club record signing. They've just hijacked Newcastle for Victor Munoz for 40 million euros. So they've already signed Munoz. Now they're potentially adding a 100 million euro teenager on top of this as well. Salah's gone, Iriola is in, and the checkbook is getting rinsed. So I wanted to have a look at this one properly, because on the surface, again, it's like Liverpool are doing a madness, but let's have a look at it. So Yan Diomande, Ivory Coast, 19 years of age, plays on the right, sometimes as an attacking midfielder. He's been at Leipzig for just a year from Ligan. They paid 20 million euros for him. 12 months later, he's now being sold for 5 times that. For their point of view, fantastic business. For Liverpool, it's pretty aggressive market movement. Why? Well, he had a great debut in the World Cup this week, and the Athletic have specifically pointed to that as proof of, his elite young talent status, if you like. Leipzig don't want to sell him. Of course they do, right? Of course they do. Apparently they want to extend his contract. He's been there a year, lads. Of course you want to sell him. If you can flip a player for 5x his value, of course you want to sell him. Don't act wet. Now their valuation is supposedly 130 plus million euros, which means that Liverpool's insane proposal of 100 million euros is way below their asking price by a margin. And there's a big detail there from Ornstein. It says Liverpool aren't putting all their eggs in that basket. They're also looking at alternatives. They're looking at Yankuba Minte at Brighton. They're looking at El Mala at FC Corn. They're looking at Matias Fernandez Pardo, not Mateus Fernandez, at Lille. And they're ready to walk away if Leipzig hold firm. That smells of a briefing. But the preference seems like it is Diomande, and they are going to push hard for him. Liverpool's recent transfer pattern is going big and going big often by the looks of it. So what they're doing right now is there is an identifiable strategy to it. 12 months ago, Wirtz, 100 mil. 2 years before that, they tried for Casado for 115 mil. But even around then, you're looking at McAllister, Szoboszlai. A few years before that, Alisson and Van Dijk, big money. Under FSG, they have a real pattern. They identify positions quite ahead of time, or it seems like they're trying. They pay above market value to win the race when those positions and those players become available. And then that's their game. Obviously, with Salah gone, they want the next generational right winger. Diamande, I think he's a while off that, although I think he's got potential. But is it mental or is it strategic? I still think there's an element of gambling and luck to it, but there is absolutely a pattern that you can recognise. Now, what that's going to do to the entire market is interesting, and probably where it gets bad for United, because when Liverpool spend 86.5 million or 100 million euros on a 19-year-old that's obviously never played in the Premier League, the entire elite young talent market just completely recalibrates. So think about it. You've got Anderson now looking at going for 120, 125 million, 22-year-old with one basically full Premier League season and one competitive World Cup match. Bouardi at Lille, they're talking that they want 80 million for him, 18-year-old with a good World Cup performance under his belt the other day. Mateus Fernandes is going to be 80 million. Even Sangare looking at 33, 35 million, and that seems like it's creeping up. Every single selling club in Europe woke up this morning and banged 10% on every single player that they're trying to sell, and certainly every teenager that's on their books. So there's going to be a cost here, even if we don't even bid for Diamande ourselves. The market is moving quick. Forest demanding 125 for Anderson and City not just immediately leaving tells you that, yes, it was aggressive, but the market is constantly shifting, and people are almost happy to consider 125 million for a single season good value. And that's a structural problem. Willingness to spend, from Liverpool's point of view, at the top end, inflates the prices for everybody. And that's the same for everyone. United have been guilty of this in the past as well. It's not Chelsea and City probably really kicked the arse out of it. Paris as well, Madrid as well. Barcelona, some of the money that they've spent on transfers is bananas. But there's the contrast here. And I think this is a question worth looking at. If Liverpool are spending 85 million on a 19-year-old that's never played in the Premier League, United are walking away from Elliot Anderson, who's had a couple of Premier League seasons under his belt, one big one under his belt, because of 125 million. I think we're looking at a very different recruitment policy from United. Liverpool are currently saying, take the punt, pay the premium, trust the upside. Ineos are saying, no, I don't think so. That number doesn't make sense. Let's find a smarter alternative, potentially at least anyway. And I like that. Both Liverpool's strategy, if it works and the players are hit, it works. If it don't, well then it fucking don't, does it? And United have had that in the past where we've spent big. Whether that was Lukaku or Pogba. Pogba was more of a success than people want to give him credit for. But there's been big, Di Maria, I mean even Harry Maguire. Maybe it's worked out in the end, but it was a lot of money. I mean, certainly Wan-Bissaka wasn't 50 million at the time. I think 38.8 for Ederson is an example of the sort of move that Ineos prefer. A lot of the upsides and only a third of the price. The brutal truth is that Liverpool's approach could get them closer to the title race quicker, and Ineos' approach could build a sustainable structure, but it might take you a while to get to the very top. The Diamande deal, if it happens this summer, could really help kickstart Liverpool back into contention. The Bouardi, Sangare, Fernandes mix, that seems to be happening. Seems to be keeping the asking prices rising, but not in a way that's ever going to benefit United, because the players that United are wanting to move on, everybody knows they want to move on, and we never get to benefit from that upside because everyone that we're trying to move on is in a slump and no longer good enough for us. We're not a selling club that gets poached by bigger clubs that are, so players on form, they stay on form and they stay at the club. They don't get on form and then move. Liverpool are going to tell you it's brilliant business. RB Leipzig are certainly going to tell you it's brilliant business. Diamande might be one of the best teenagers in Europe at the moment, and that's why he's going for what he's going for. But I mean, their asking price of 130 million euros is fucking eye-watering, isn't it? And almost doesn't make sense. Liverpool haters, i.e. me, will tell you that this is a bit of a lottery ticket thing that Liverpool are trying to do, but it's a gamble, and it could have a massive upside. You can't deny it's a gamble. And the money that they've spent in the last couple of years is, frankly, a fucking piss take. I don't know how they're going to be under the squad cost ratio and the FFP and the PSR and all the other fucking KFCs that are coming into this league next season. But that's what it is. Let me know in the comments. Are they changing tactic, or is this what's required? It's in a bit.
We do have the Premier League fixtures for you. Benty has kindly stuck around to give us his take on it.
Max very cold.
Max Scott's here with all the news. Max.
Yes. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm just used to you boys.
I know it's
in the afternoon.
Throwing me all the time.
That's in my head. But look, let's get into it. The Premier League fixtures are out. The season gets underway Friday, the 21st of August. The first 2 games of the Premier League season, live and exclusive to national radio on TalkSport. We start off on Friday night. Kick off at 8 o'clock. Benty's champions Arsenal at home to Coventry City.
Oh, the randomness of that algorithm. How did that possibly happen?
Start. The supercomputer pulled that one out of the bag. That, of course, live on TalkSport. Then the early game on Saturday, the 22nd of August, newcomers Hull take on Manchester United at home. And then we're just going to run through the opening fixtures so everyone listening knows exactly who you've got on the first game of the season. 3 o'clock kickoff, Everton Crystal Palace on the Saturday. Newly promoted Ipswich Town without Kieran McKenna take on Sunderland. Then the mighty Nottingham Forest at home on the banks of the River Trent against Leeds United. Brentford at home against Tottenham in what was known as the Thomas Frank Derby. Then on Sunday, the 23rd of August, Brighton and Hove Albion at home to Aston Villa. Manchester City under Enzo Maresca, we believe, will take on Bournemouth. Newcastle United against Liverpool in the later kickoff on the Sunday. And then live exclusively on TalkSport on Monday night, it's the derby in London, Fulham at home to Chelsea.
Fantastic. You're going to wait all weekend then for a game.
I hate that.
And it's a derby.
No, I do, because you don't feel like part of the weekend when it's Monday night.
Yeah, and it's the derby, Andy.
And it's the derby.
We're going to chat to Dean Holden very shortly.
What makes all this difficult is that both teams, for example, they've got new managers and new players, so it's hard to say how it might go.
Yeah, true. But Darren, Arsenal Cov on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we're going to have a chat with Doug King, the owner of Cov, later on. He's going to be delighted, I'm sure, with that, because like Hull, and Dean Holden's a big Manchester United fan when we chat to him, so he'll be chuffed with that. You want these games. That's why you want to be in that division, isn't it?
Yeah, you want the big games. I mean, it's always one where you think, could we have maybe a bit of an easier start? Because
you've been there as a player, haven't you?
Exactly. The last thing, certainly being a striker, and I wouldn't say a selfish one, but I'd like a few whipping boys at the start to get your confidence in, get a few goals.
Yeah.
But for Arsenal, their fixture, they'd look at that and go, yeah, it's a great fixture. But for Coventry, as you said, that's what you wait for.
Yeah. Their fans are going to turn out. They're going to love it.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
All the Arsenal players will be flogged after the World Cup.
Yeah. For Coventry, it's an incredible opening day fixture for them. But they know it's going to be difficult. But listen, Frank's done a fantastic job there. So he'll have them set up ready to go. But you'd expect Arsenal to win that.
And Ipswich, that's a tough start against Sunderland, who had a good season. So it's the Darren Bent derby.
Very much is.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. But Ipswich, last time they were up, their first 2 games of the season, Liverpool, Man City. This time around, obviously, you said they're Sunderland. But then they've got some tricky ones after that. I think they go to United. Yeah. Then they got Liverpool. Then I think is it Fulham after that as well? No, Everton, then Fulham. It's a tough start again for Ipswich, but you've got to play them at some point, I guess. But just to see them back in the Premier League again, it's incredible.
You do fear a little bit for the 3 promoted, as you always do. But last year they proved to go against the norm. But this year does feel tricky for them. But we'll see.
You've got to get off to a good start. I think that's the key. And you look at Sunderland when they got promoted, they had a couple of games in their winnable fixtures. I think they beat West Ham opening game last season 3-0. That gave them the confidence, but you've got to get off to a good start.
You've sorted out a few of the derbies for us. Very interesting that you've put the Arsenal and Manchester City games, Max. November the 28th, Arsenal City, and then January the 30th. So they're getting them out of the way quite early, the City-Arsenal games, if we think they're going to be the 2 main protagonists again next season.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some of the derbies and some of the big games. Of course, Arsenal City over the past few years has been massive. We don't really know what City are going to look like without Pep Guardiola. That's a big one. But I mean, the North London derby, Spurs at home to Arsenal, 5th of December. 1st of May is the return reverse fixture. Manchester derbies, Manchester United against Manchester City on the 12th of December. I mean, we can go on. United against Liverpool. Liverpool at home in that first derby at Anfield on the 21st
new manager, who knows?
of November. Yeah, Iraola again is a bit of a...
I'm looking at our fixtures and thinking, not going to get a win till the 12th of September.
Well, the Hawksby and Jacobs derby, by the way. Chelsea at home to Tottenham on the 24th of October, and then towards the end of the season, Spurs welcome Chelsea on the 8th of May.
Yeah. Tottenham have got a weird run in. I think they've got Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United. They've got a bunch of very big teams. I say every season, I look at the last game and say that will be the one we need to stay up. And I do it for a joke every year. And this year we actually had to play Everton to stay up, so I won't be doing that.
I don't think that's going to happen again. When you look, I like what Spurs have done. The recruitment, all of a sudden, they've gone really, really.
That's if they get these players over the line. They're being linked. They've got some over the line, but they're being linked with some other players. Let's see if they get
I really like what they're doing, because this is not usually the usual Spurs where they leave it late and they just what they can get.
Yeah.
But the fact he's gone so early, that Van Hecker, I think, is a really good signing.
Yeah.
And I like that he's building from the back forward.
Yeah, well, I think it was badly
Had
needed, certainly. Everybody likes a Boxing Day fixture. I've got them here, so maybe I'll do Max's job because you want to know if you're at home over Christmas. Okay, from the 26th, it says that at the moment, but that could obviously change for telly.
Yeah.
Villa, Leeds, Cov, Chelsea, Palace, Arsenal,
Frank Lampard.
Everton, Sunderland, Fulham versus Brighton, Hull City versus Liverpool, Ipswich v Brentford, Manchester United versus Max's Nottingham Forest, and Newcastle versus Manchester City. They are at the moment the Boxing Day fixtures. That's the one I tend to look at. And Tottenham Bournemouth. So we're at home for a change. I haven't been at home on Boxing Day for ages. So
no fixtures on the 28th. Oh, no, right. See, right.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, it's a mad old time of year and stuff gets moved around for telly. But that's so you know if you're going to be at home or away over the Christmas period. At least you know now.
This is good news as well, isn't it? Because last season we only had one Boxing Day fixture, the fewest since the Second World War.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if they all get shifted, man. Same thing happens.
We live in hope. We live in hope.
Seen here though, Chelsea are away on the 26th.
Yeah.
And then they're also away on the 30th. So both Christmas fixtures, they're away. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Really enjoyable.
What a miserable
festive
miserable
fixtures.
Christmas.
What's wrong with this computer?
Yeah, that's right. Manchester derbies, 12th of December, Manchester United City, and then City versus United over in March. So, yeah, an intrigue. I mean, look, as we say, as you just said, you've all got to play everybody. But you're right. And it was interesting getting a player's perspective on that, thinking, I might have liked an easier start so I can get my eye and get a couple of goals, get some confidence. Because, you know, if you're one of the Coventry front line, you know it's not going to be an easy evening, is it? Really?
Exactly. You want to start, certainly if you're a striker and you're going into this game, you're thinking, right, just hit the ground running early, get a couple of goals, confidence is up, fans are looking at me thinking, oh, he can score goals in the Premier League. But when you come up against Gabriel and Saliba, I mean,
although on the other hand, it's a good time to play one of the top teams the first game of the season because they will have players coming back from the World Cup late.
Big night for Victor Gyökeres as well, where he sort of cut his teeth there and built a reputation. So it'll be great for him, won't it?
He's obviously left Coventry, gone on to do great things at Sporting Lisbon, and is now Premier League champion. He's done really well. I think 3 league titles in a row. I mean, he never would have said that leaving Coventry.
No, absolutely. Time weird derbies as well. I think the fans up there want to know what's going on.
Yeah, so first up, Newcastle at home to Sunderland, 5th of December, and then the return leg, Sunderland-Newcastle, 1st of May towards the end of the season. That's
revenge required there.
And the Merseyside derbies quite close together, Max, aren't they?
Yeah, quite a few of them are, actually. We've got sort of some November, January, December, February fixtures. Everton-Liverpool, 28th of November. Liverpool-Everton, 30th of January. 2027.
I wish the process was a bit more open, that you could see exactly how the computer did this and they showed you working it all out. Because it is very complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Certain people can't be at home when other people
I don't want to be a cynic, but I'm guessing someone from Sky's sitting there at the Premier League and they say, well, the algorithm says the first night will be Brentford versus Leeds on a Friday night. And they say, I think you find it isn't. Maybe you want to run that again. Yeah. no, let's run it again. 3 hours later. Yeah. Oh, Arsenal versus Coventry.
That's better.
That sounds like it. Yeah, okay, we'll stick with that one then. Of course not. That's not how it works.
I don't know what you think about that. It might be a good idea to go through the promoted sides. We've got Hull, Ipswich and Coventry. Hull have got United at home, Coventry away, Villa at home, first 3 games of the season. Ipswich have got Sunderland at home, Manchester United away, Liverpool at home. And then Coventry, I think they've got the most difficult task. Arsenal away, Hull at home, Manchester City away. So baptism of fire for Frank Lampard in the Premier League.
Yes, but that gives one of those 2 promoted teams a chance to get 3 points early. That's they play each other. So
and
that's good.
playing promoted teams early in the season is generally it's like they're like cup matches, like FA Cup games, aren't they?
Yeah.
So that
They haven't been worn down yet.
No, they haven't been. They haven't had their backside handed to them in a couple of games.
And confidence is on the floor. Yeah,
exactly.
A bit of optimism.
Final day. I was sort of joking about needing to stay up on the last day to my cost last year. What are the final day fixtures? Because I think fans are often interested in that. I think, what's going to happen? What do we need?
Can we win the title? Can we stay up? Can we get Europe? Let's go for it. Final day of the season, booked in for the 30th of May 2020.
At least we know they're all going to kick off.
We know that they're all kicking off at the same time. So Arsenal, Brighton.
I can see the Guard of Honour already, the old Brighton players.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Brighton, Villa, Spurs, Chelsea, Brentford, Coventry, Forest, Palace, Leeds, Hull, Newcastle, Ipswich, Everton, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Andoni Areola won there, Manchester United, Fulham, Sunderland, Man City. They're the fixtures for the final day of the season.
So Everton at Portman Road, do you think you can stay up based on that?
Yeah,
Gone a bit early there.
Not harsh there.
Of course not.
I'd like to think so, but they're going to have to. It's really important to see who replaces Kieran. That's the big thing. They need to make that decision early. Get the players in you want. Get the players out you want. But I believe Ipswich can stay up. Was more hope than anything.
Have you got a kind of feeling about a team next of the three promoted sides, Darren? Who do you think's going to do the best?
Only because of experience, and Ipswich have been there more recently.
Yeah.
I think they'd have learnt from the mistakes they made last time. But then Frank Lampard, I'm a big fan of Frank.
Yeah,
I think he's a really good manager. I think sometimes he doesn't get the rubber to green in terms of what he's done. So I think maybe two could stay up. I think two. The whole I'm not convinced about. I wasn't convinced about them getting promoted, even in the playoff final, which is arguably the worst game ever.
Well, that means two other teams going to get
even as good as that.
No, exactly. I think Hull may struggle this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dean Holden's listening now, so he'll be taking it.
One of the
up with you
traditional
later.
big powers will struggle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Just finally, Max, let's just sort of recap. We just brought you the fixtures. They only came in at 10 o'clock, so let's just kind of recap for everybody where we're at.
So where we are is TalkSport have got live exclusive commentary of the first two games of the season. Arsenal welcome Coventry to the Emirates. In the early kickoff on the Saturday, it's Hull at home to Manchester United on the opening day of the season. Then you've got Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Sunderland, Forest, Leeds, Brentford, Spurs on the opening Saturday. Brighton, Villa, City, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Liverpool on the Sunday. And then ending that opening weekend, the London derby, Fulham against Chelsea. And just an interesting fact that I've noticed going through this. We've already heard Andy complaining about 2 away games over the Christmas period for his Chelsea. Fulham are going to play all 3 promoted sides consecutively twice in one season.
Wow.
So you could, it depends, right? If one of the promoted sides, like you say, Ipswich, go on a run like Sunderland, that'll be a tough game. But on paper, for whoever comes in, whether it's Arbeloa, whoever comes into Fulham, you've got 6 fixtures there, back-to-back, where you can gather a little bit of momentum. So maybe the supercomputer has been shining down, not the footballing gods anymore.
No.
The supercomputer has been looking down favourably on Fulham.
Quite a lot of Cov fans getting in touch. Didn't Quinny score a hat-trick, Mickey Quinn, on the opening day when Cov last played Arsenal? JT in Essex says that. Justin in Malvern, I think he did. It was his great claim fame, wasn't it, Mick?
Yeah.
So, who are West Ham playing? This is the day you can do your band.
Yeah.
We've already had a pop at our exec producer. You've already done that, Andy. So you've got a little window. It's like April Fool's Day. Don't you have till lunchtime? This to have a little bit of bants with the teams that have gone down, but then you got to park it and let them get on with it. Brilliant, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for sticking around. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
What do you two?
Enjoy all the football. So there we are. Thank you, Max. Top work. We'll hear from you later. So that's all the fixture news for you. And so we're going to speak to some of the people involved. Doug King, the Coventry owner, is going to join us for a chat a little bit later on this hour. We'll see what he makes of that start away at the Emirates. But as we said, that's what it's what he put his money in for. It's what he dreamed of. It's what he wanted the club to be. So it's great for him and the Coventry fans and players. But before that, Dean Holden joins us, and he is a massive Manchester United fan and assistant head coach at Hull City. And of course, it's Hull City versus Manchester United live on TalkSport on the first Saturday of the season. So I'm sure he'll be